Ravanna was once a proud land, home to honorable warriors, brilliant scholars, and just rulers. But decades of war have left the kingdom depleted and vulnerable, ripe for the picking for those ambitious enough to seize it. This was before the death of the king. In his absence, greedy men have become emboldened. This only worsened when Prince Edmund, their only heir, refused to take the throne at a time of war. His sister Lelena would rule in his stead until such a time when the war was won or a peace could be broken. What comes next is a matter of great debate and countless rumors, but what we know for certain is within months Lelena was married. A man named Erlich, who was of minor nobility and far from a suitable match for the standing queen, was quickly crowned, and Edmund's throne was usurped. In the years that followed, Ravanna has crumbled from within. Corruption runs rampant, fighting between noble houses threatens to tear the kingdom apart, and word from the capital is Erlich's parties grow increasingly decadent. The king is either blissfully unaware or indifferent to the state of Ravanna. This is a time for either heroes or villains to rise. A kingdom lies in the balance. Which way will the scales tip? And we're live, and no one is ready because I didn't really tell them until just before I hit the button. But that's okay because it's Friday night D&D and all bets are off, motherfuckers. All right.
And now for everyone's deer in the headlights look.
Yeah.
We're live.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're live.
Yeah. Welcome to
Hi,
Ravanna,
everybody.
man.
Woo-woo.
Lee Kim. What's up, man? Welcome to Friday Night D&D. We got everybody here, although Will wandered off and we didn't bother waiting for him because we were already running late.
You know, he'll be back or he's dead. These are both options.
There he is.
Hey, look, he's back and dead.
It was a
Way too long.
50-50 shot.
Hey.
What'd I do? Oh, shit. I'll be right back.
You know what? I almost hope he doesn't come back because that would be the greatest entrance/exit that
Right.
we had here on Wicked
He
Studios.
was never heard from again.
What did I?
Suddenly-
Oh, shit.
Jarvis' joke just becomes so horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here.
There's a 50-50 chance.
50-50 chance we might actually play some D&D tonight here, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe. We'll see. All right, so yeah,
Leak.
what happened last time? You guys, I don't it's like
Last time we took a fort.
you took the fort. That's
What did I
Actually,
do?
thanks to Alistair, who killed, oh man, how many people? I wrote it down. It was,
750
it
people.
was at least that.
Yeah.
And I didn't die.
Over in reality.
That's true.
I should have.
You took enough damage to kill 750 people at least.
Why did I write down Marty the Deuce?
I don't know who that is.
I don't
Marty
know
the
either.
Deuce?
Yeah.
Is that one of the halflings?
Oh, it might have been one of the halflings. You're right.
Martin we talked to, and then we called Marty the Deuce. And then
Yeah, I killed 51. Well, Alistair Grant did. Adam is a pacifist. I killed 50. Well, you know, unless you get in my face. Alistair killed 51 people, blew up 3 buildings.
Side note,
yeah.
a pacifist, unless someone gets in your face, is just a person.
yeah,
It's just a non-asshole type person.
yeah, I gotta go with Jarvis on this one.
What if I
think that's just-
get in your face and say, "Get out of my face," and then hit you? How does that?
That's an asshole.
That's an asshole. That's me then. I'm not a pacifist. I'm an asshole. Yeah.
Well, it depends the whole reason for
I'm
being in face.
emphasis on the fist.
So anyway, so we took a fort from some North Erglians.
Yep.
Yep, that's them.
You had passage back to Dorleman secure.
Oh, fucking Bjorn.
half
Well, we're losing Jarrus, so
no one's
yeah.
fault in particular. I mean, it was,
Yeah, Bjorn threatened the our host, and then I was trying to make a deal because Lorik and Radek didn't have any money to pay for the ride back. So, and I
had 15 gold.
I actually talked them down. Well, again, there was probably some more we were going to have to do later on, but at least they were going to let us on the ship. And then Bjorn, for some reason, still trying to figure out.
After everything was like
Everything
done
was
and
cool,
ironed out.
man. We were all in good spirits. We're all going to board the ship. Someone is taking our luggage, and all of a sudden, Bjorn is fucking with people.
He was being a
And Bjorn had a free ride already. He didn't even have to pay a cent.
long story short, I personally misunderstood something.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, like a little background. I never played like a regular economic setting of D&D. It's always been like house economics. So like I thought a couple hundred gold was an exorbitant sum. So I was like, they're scamming us.
And they were.
Yeah.
It usually takes them a while to get going, and it's like an old Oldsmobile. You gotta.
It's a cold day. The car's been started. It just needs to run for a little while so that it heats up properly, so that it can go.
Yeah.
So I looked up things so that doesn't happen again. But
Wait, you can always ask too. Like, is that reasonable or outrageous?
It did seem like it was expensive.
Jacob spent the previous week Googling how much is the cost to take a boat trip in D&D.
Right.
I prefer to have
But then he got mad and started yelling at the computer. Like that's what,
Right.
Yeah, I prefer to have the overreactive Bjorn. Actually, that's far more entertaining.
No, it was, yes. But now we're fucking walking to Dorlaman, which I'm gonna put the map
It's like across
on
a
here.
continent.
Yeah, it's we're somewhere over here, and we need to get way down here. If you guys can see that.
Where is yeah.
Well, I was talking to the people at home. I don't give a shit if you guys can see it. You can figure it out on your own time.
He doesn't work. Adam doesn't work for you. He works for the people.
I do. That's
There
true.
it is. I
was
still
just
think we should just go
elaborate.
straight through. Straight through.
All right,
I'm with a dwarf and a big ass Goliath. I feel confident in the ability to go straight through.
Wow, I don't.
and deal with any of the encounters.
Yeah, I like Lee Kim's idea. This is where we hitch Bjorn to the wagon and he pulls you all the way there.
you're probably better off hitching Lorik, although Bjorn would be more deserving.
Yeah.
All right, so I figured out the math, and depending on what route you take, but pretty much either way, whether you go around the forest from the north or from the south, you're looking at about 2.5, 3 months
To get to Dorlaman or to get around the forest?
to get to Dor.
Okay. It's a long way, but we might.
You would have noticed that ship was fast.
The ship was
That-
fast. I'm translating for those at home. It was a fast ship. 2 weeks, roughly. I think it took us to get there.
It was so I had 2 weeks. Now that I've actually applied measurements and followed rules, it's more like a month. Like 3 weeks to a month is how long it took you guys to get out here.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's gonna be an
that
extra
sounds
month
about
on
right.
foot.
Yeah. It was a
Well, extra
speedboat.
2 months on foot.
Yeah,
Jesus
I think
Christ.
I'm missing something because of the robot voice.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
like a
I'm not wearing
2.5
pants again, am I? Right? Didn't I take my
Yes.
pants off? Yeah.
Right.
You're wrapped in a
You got
blanket.
him again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you did. You really did.
You've got 2 months of walking. It's a really bad time to not have pants.
Oh shit! You know what? Again, I have
Or like 3
prestidigitation. I
months of
forgot all
walking.
about it.
I thought you were just above doing that.
No, I just. I mean, the
Yeah.
thing is, what got on me? Was that more puke?
Yeah, more puke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just principle. Walking around with even with magically cleaned pants, there's still there at one point was dwarf puke on my pants, and that's not cool, man.
I feel like Alistair has to
Unacceptable.
develop a trait now, like germaphobe.
Right?
He's already pretty
He
much
had
got it. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah. for
And I mean,
sure.
now I'm going to be walking for 3 months. I'm not using my only good clothes for this because there's going to be a time where I'm going to need this outfit, and
Well, a guy offered
it's gonna be
to
dirty and ripped.
hook you up with the whatchamacallit, with some regular clothes. And you
I got some regular clothes, and then Bjorn
Oh,
puked
did-
on those.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying
Yep.
attention, obviously.
This is the second time, the second go round.
So now I'm wearing a shirt, and I've got a blanket wrapped
He's Winnie the
around my
Poohing it.
waist.
Hey, me too. In real life, it's really
Nice. As it should be.
All right. So anyway, that leads us into tonight's episode of Ravanna.
Da-da-da-da.
Nice.
All right. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? They know us by now, right?
Adam.
Adam. There's a Jake, a Josh.
Yeah.
I'm Josh. I like to party.
My kids can't tell the difference between them, and they're blood, so you don't have to be there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Names are trivial.
Yeah.
Uncle Guy over there. I know.
Works for me.
But all right, yeah. So I'm Jairus. There's Adam. There's Will. Fuck you guys.
He just, yeah, Jairus speaks in weird tones. There's no words.
So, do we want to try Skype if this is just going to be shitty? Which it seems like it's going to be shitty.
We can.
We could try it.
I mean, we can try to suffer through this until the first break and see if it gets any better, and then switch during the break if that's more.
we can give it a shot.
All right, yeah, we'll see.
Whatever works.
We'll
It
give
seems
a
to
shot.
be worse usually in the beginning, and then it kind of settles down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Hopefully.
Yeah, knock on wood.
All right, so you watch kind of regrettingly as the halfling floats back to his ship, and they sail out of sight.
Wasn't excited about trying to squeeze into a halfling ship anyway.
Oh no, it was a beauty.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's true. They did have the lower deck above
Just-
the top floor, like that part of the, but inside a little rough. And you're a giant.
Yeah,
Just
they
sleep
come up to like my
outside.
ankle.
I would
Yeah.
say, not like
They'd be like a knee.
right. Yeah, right about the knee. It's like that's. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah, they're perfect punting size.
All right, this is why we're walking for 2 months, guys.
Ironically,
Closer to
he
3.
didn't cause that.
All right, so where are we right now?
All right, so you're on. See this little like dip or little carve out.
Like the bay thing up by the.
That's where you are. I'm pinging up, but like close to where you were in Hayfield. Am I on the right map? Are we
Over
on the
here?
same? Nope, I'm on the wrong map. Here we go. Let me come to where you are.
Oh, we're all the way up there. So I guess our best bet, take the road through here, right?
If I remember correctly, that was where a lot of hostile activity was.
All right, so you've got a few different like this. So obviously the North Erglians, you can assume are going to be
Pissed.
you're going to be persona non grata amongst them. Olenfeld,
No one saw me, to be
Established
fair.
that they're bitches.
Yeah. So this is also a nation of Eldorans, which might be. So like this whole section over here west
Oh, that's right. It
of
was
those
bad news
mountains,
there.
those two
Right.
nations are not going to like you.
Yeah,
Who knows
so
if
let's go
you get
around.
through or not.
All we need is code names.
Yeah, that's
That's all we need.
I feel like the giant and the dwarf won't fit in too well. We're not too
Like,
incognito.
especially considering that they only know Loric's name. And it's just
Yeah,
going to be
there's no reason. Yeah.
physical descriptions.
Right?
I'm not Luke, I'm Sam.
Exactly. And we start off every conversation with, we get this a lot, but we're not Lorik and Bjorn.
Except the moment they ask Luke if it's are you Luke? Yes.
Well, we're killing more Erglians.
Yeah, let's go. Let's stay away from them because, we're not going to be able to talk our way out of getting killed. So let's head south And then
your options
and I say we
are,
cross.
there are other ships that come through this. It's more.
But nobody else has any money. I'm not spending my money on all these people, frankly. If I get on a ship, I'm going by myself.
So mean.
You had your chance.
I didn't do anything wrong.
No, but you were part of it.
You didn't stop me.
Guilty by association.
I for the record, I really don't think I would have been able to stop it anyway.
No.
I mean, I let Alistair try and he failed. So what hope do I have?
Some like godly intervention or some shit.
All right, so
All right. On the way out, can I buy another pair of pants?
Oh yeah.
Can I trade one of these nice blankets? No, forget it. These blankets are nice. I'm gonna buy a. How much? How much? Maybe 2 pair of pants for a gold. What do we say?
Yeah, that's yep.
This way, I got a backup.
Apparently, you're gonna need it.
Well, as long as there's no more discs, we should be okay.
I don't trust
It's
this.
gonna be nothing but discs.
Yeah.
Big floppy discs flying right at your face.
All right,
Are they going to be able to hook us up with a cart and a mule or something, or like?
No, they already said they weren't going to give us anything.
Oh yeah, no, they're not going to give you anything. You can buy stuff.
We captured their fort for them, and they don't give a shit.
I know. Well, these are
Well,
your friends.
you rode like 3 or 4 days away from there.
Yeah, this is a different.
So if you want to ride 3 or 4 days back to the fort, maybe.
No.
Or not ride, walk.
That guy was awfully uppity for having been hiding in his basement. I don't think he's going to give a shit anyway.
Yeah, he was kind of a
piece
of work, that guy.
Yeah.
I still have to figure out this.
I don't think he was so much uppity as much as I misunderstood the mechanics of him owning the place.
Well, it's still even that. I don't think I would talk trash to the guy who killed 500. How many was it again? How many is it?
It was 762.
7,000. There you go.
No, 762. Let's not be ridiculous. Although legitimately it was 51, give or take.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the DM wandered off. So we're going down. We don't need him. We're going down this way. What's right? Have we agreed on this?
Yeah. I think the only threat down there was from the Forest of Thorns itself, which is like bandits and orcs and goblins and such.
Yeah, so the whole, like, the road down there runs kind of close to the Forest of Thorns, so it's, there are some hazards.
Yeah.
But that, it's more roundabout and out of the way, so it's a longer, so, like, it'd be probably just over 2 months if you took, like, the direct path to Dorleman, where it's going to be definitely closer to 3, say 3. Going down and around, maybe even a little bit more, but give or take, you expect about 3 months. So you had a month to your journey, but it is safer. Well, safer. Like, you still have to cross through the Forest of Thorns, and the road still runs along it. So there's hazards, but not nearly as much as marching through territory controlled by any Eldorans. Yeah.
That's my vote.
Yeah.
Seems sensible.
Alrighty.
Radek?
It's all right.
I've been overruled. It doesn't matter.
What was your plan?
I say go through the short way, but that's just me.
Lurk's down for whatever.
I do believe that Amon will protect me on this short path and will watch over you kindly as well. There you go.
There you go.
That's his argument.
I choose not to even respond to that argument and start walking in the other direction.
Your lack of faith is disturbing, sir.
All right, Darth.
Alrighty.
All right, so you guys will say, let's see. Yeah, it's probably about mid-afternoon right now. You guys want to leave to now or set out first thing in the morning?
Let's just leave now. I want to get out of this place.
Yeah.
All right, so
The quicker we can get to Dorleman, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Did we buy? I'm going to spend 15 gold on provisions.
Oh yeah, we should do that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'll buy some.
How much are provisions?
So what are you looking for? Just like food or like food and water or
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. 10 gold will cover. Well, so that's the thing. It's like you're gonna have to if you try to grab 3 months worth of provisions right now. It's gonna weigh hundreds of pounds. So you grab like a week or two.
All right. So what's a week gonna cost me?
Rations would be 3 gold.
3?
2 gold.
2 gold. Okay.
2.
It might slow us down, but if I can get like a deer every week or something, like that's enough.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's true.
I mean, if you can do it, by all means.
Yep. I don't. Jairus, could I pick up a bow while I'm in town? Just for that purpose?
Yeah, if you got the money for it, that's definitely available.
I'm not good at it, but
I have a hand crossbow.
Yeah, I don't see you bringing down a deer with that.
I also have Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, well, that would probably.
Could also cook them. Yeah, kill them and cook them at the same time.
You know what, man? I'm just gonna say screw it about the bow. I got a hand axe I can throw, then I'm probably gonna be more accurate with it.
I'm just gonna chase it.
Yeah, we're gonna starve. All right.
Yeah. I mean, if it comes to catching a deer or starving,
It's
not sounding great.
It's not gonna work out for our favor.
I have traps and I have survival skills and blah blah blah.
All right. Sure. And we're off.
All right.
Oh, it's been interrupted.
What was that Bob Hope and Bing Crosby song? Off on the road.
2 guys, 2 white privilege. In the 50s?
Yeah. No, I don't think that was the song. It was like On the Road to Morocco or something like that.
I don't know.
I'll find it.
Just
Marrakesh.
again.
Marrakesh. There it is.
Going places where I've never been.
If it is, that's hilarious because I was talking shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna. As we're
All
walking,
right.
I just take out the lute and just start playing a little road music.
Excellent. All right, so it okay. I was waiting out some unstable internet. You travel for a few hours. Well, say it's 3 o'clock. How late you guys want to travel?
Until dusk, probably. Yeah.
Okay, so dusk. All right. So, yeah, in that time, you don't come to another town, but you're able, travel a little bit past dusk, and you can find a good place to set up camp.
How far do you think it is to Darlaman now?
Oh, God, you're that guy.
Are we almost there? Do you think?
Leon looks at you directly and is roughly 3 months.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Does not understand.
I look back and I can still see Hayfield.
Oh, you're still in Hayfield. Hayfield's the kingdom. It would have just been Port Town 1.
Oh, okay. All right. I start rolling out my bedroll, and I'm gonna.
The town was Nabra.
And it is the road to Morocco, and I put the link in the chat. There you go.
I don't see
Morocco, Marrakesh. Yeah.
It's the I guess I could put it in. Yeah, let's put it in the
stream chat.
Yeah, the stream chat, so everybody knows. There it is.
There we
right
go.
There. So you two can see what's going through the mind of Brother Raddick.
All right.
Did you guys spend all week working on that code? Decipher the code?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
No, I forgot all about it. I just
should
opened it up.
figure out a
before.
way to post that to chat. So
Yeah. You're in chat. Want to solve the code for us?
Yes.
This is what was in your head, huh?
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, the audience can now hear it too. By the way, as we think about what we're gonna do here,
I can't hear it
because you're not watching us. You're supposed to be part of this, not a viewer.
I am.
You're not a spectator.
Are you kidding me? Half of the time, you guys put on a hell of a show, and I'm watching it.
Simple fucking cobblers. Like I didn't sign on for this, but all right.
Right?
Praise be to Allah.
I say,
so anyway.
I'm going to get some stories and tell the grandchildren. Oh, I got grandchildren already. So, but yeah.
All right, so what's the plan here? I guess nobody has a tent, I imagine, huh?
Jairus, is it a town that we're going to? That we could reach after a little after dusk?
No. It's just
We're just on the side of the
a spot
road.
to camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well reach that. Go for that.
And I'd like to be on the western side of, if possible, of the road, away from the forest.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, most of the places we find the clearing are decent. You know, places people have camped before is almost always on the other side of the road, as if it makes some sort of difference.
We are probably not even in
It's
sight.
you know what? It's the extra few feet that I need to
Right.
run away.
I mean, considering that we've only traveled for like 3 hours and we were leaving the coast, we're probably not even in sight of the forest yet.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, that's
true. We're not even on
Boy,
the
that
road.
3 hours, we really power walked right through it.
I get my headband in, get my pedometer ready. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah,
And that's actually what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna skip like 3 or 4 days at this point because traveling through Hayfeld is gonna be
Peaceful.
Yeah, like they're very little risk.
When
But
we
once
set
you
camp,
hit the
though?
road,
Sorry,
say that again.
I was going to establish that when we set camp, I set up game traps around for animals if I can. So that
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then
Give me a survival check.
I also have the hunting traps. I don't know. I forgot what they add, if anything.
It's how many hunting traps do you have?
I have. Where'd you go here? 5.
Use them all. I'm fucking
All
hungry.
right, so I'll give you a +1 to the roll for each trap.
Okay, I put them all out, and then I just collect them in every morning before we take off again. You know.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. So we're going to cover like the 3 or 4 days. We're just going to do one roll and we'll see how you did.
And +5, so.
Yep.
I think we can't see it.
No, it just hasn't rolled yet. Oh, I see. Well, did you roll?
Yeah, I did in chat.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Roll 20 is behind.
Roll
What'd you
20 if you'd like to be a
I
sponsor.
got it,
We would love to have you.
I got a 13.
Yeah, he rolled.
13. All right,
He
so you
only rolled once.
manage a couple of rabbits for the course of the feast.
So, robot.
A couple of rabbits.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, internet was.
I don't know what's harder to figure out, this puzzle or what Jairus says.
I've actually been speaking in that same gibberish.
Oh, there you go.
It's a clue.
There you go.
Decipher this.
But I'm gonna do that every time we camp, and then I also kind of I don't know, whatever survival techniques I would use to like hide the fire as much as possible, and
Sure.
you know,
So the way to hide a fire is you dig a
not have a
hole
fire.
down into the ground and put the fire in there and then bury it. Choose.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm doing that, but then like if there's a possibility of it, like we set up the fire on like ledges or hills where it would be like where any kind of reflection wouldn't be going towards the forest or whatever, you know, and, like that sort of thing. Especially once we get closer to the forest.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
and I'd take the watch when it's the darkest,
Okay.
so I can see.
Sure. All right. So, we're gonna fast forward to you guys come to like the where the road kind of right here, like where you'd come to the main road, and there is a small village here, and it's mainly like there's a few inns for travelers, and the village is just kind of built around those inns. So like that is the economy of this village is just people coming through, stop and stay at the inns, and that it like everyone who lives in that village is either supplying food to the inn or working at the inn, or it's all around that.
The village is the end.
Yeah.
Look at this,
Yep.
fellas. 'Tis a beautiful sight. An inn, and I start running.
It's been 3 days.
You've been sleeping on the ground for 3 days. And no
Well-
matter what you do, there's just prestidigitation isn't the same as a bath. It's just
No, I know, not at all. I need
Yeah,
my
you don't get to
entire
supplement-
morning ritual has been affected by this trip.
right. It's like one of those things. Like on paper, the science of it, they seem exactly the same, but it's just not. So it's like, do you know that there is no science to back up that drinking on an empty stomach makes you drunker than drinking on a full stomach? But like,
It's there.
obvious,
But
like
it's-
everybody's been there. You drink on empty stomach but there's no science. Like
That
it
sounds
doesn't-
like a challenge.
I will test this theory.
Hey, we saw it firsthand. That's what happened to Ryan. Ryan didn't drink like 15 beers and get shit-faced. He drank like 4 on an empty stomach and
It was-
passed out face down mid-session.
It was really funny to see.
That was fantastic. Ryan, if you would like to be a sponsor,
It's probably Ryan if you would
or
like
if
a
you'd like a sponsor, I say that while I drink booze.
yeah.
Right.
So he's not the one to pick. he's not a good role model. All right, yeah, we're
With
at a
nothing but love, Ryan. Trust us. You made internet gold that night. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Oh yeah, no, this is like I'm talking about this because I loved it. I don't like it was absolutely fantastic. All right,
All right, so I'm running toward
guys,
this end.
yeah. Alistair just goes run just the closest, and there's 3 of them. They
What
look
looks the
pretty
nicest?
comfortable. Like, give me a perception check.
All right. Natural 20.
Holy shit!
Exactly what.
Yeah,
I've
So,
been
like, they're
the entire
at
walk
first
from the
glance.
beginning. I've been looking for an inn. So,
right.
and I've been thinking
He's
about
been
all of
thinking
the
about all,
inns
like,
that
the
I've
green
been in up until
street
this
app.
point.
And yeah, you just like figured it like this is the mark. It's all in the front door. You know, like that's Negan. But so all 3 inns look to be, they're all 2 stories. They're all roughly the same size. You can tell, it's like a dozen rooms apiece. They look like decent inns, and they're very well maintained, well kept. But you notice as you're running to the one closest to you that out of the 3, one of them just has those extra touches. So it's, like they have the decorative soffits, and they're the front door you can tell is where like the other 2 are just regular front doors. This was carved by like an artisan, like a real craftsman, and there's just
sure, I would
hand.
definitely notice this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not
It's
anything
freshly
like
painted.
super ornate.
But
Sorry,
still,
say it again.
compared to the other ones, I saw it's got some fresh.
Oh
paint.
yeah. Like it's not to a less keen eye. Like you tell everybody else, like this is the one that like if you say so, they look the same to me. But it's just subtle nuances. There's more time and care put into that one.
Then that is the one that I go
Probably
to.
would say the same thing, even if he knew the differences.
And so you go inside,
Yeah.
and it is, I wouldn't say stuffy, but stuffy adjacent. It's
Stuffy
like
adjacent. I love that.
it's quiet. There is someone playing like a harp in the corner, and the place is the same attention to detail on the outside carries through to the inside, and it looks to be it's fancy. Like the clientele there isn't, but it's kind of like the equivalent of like if you're just some working class schmo and then you go to a fancy restaurant for your anniversary or whatever. So like you put on your best suit, but it's still not $1,000 suit, and it's so you kind of see that where it's like travelers and they're just farmers or businessmen or merchants or whatever the fuck it is that has them traveling this area. But they've come and they've stayed at the nice inn, so they put on their best clothes, and they're trying to live up to the appearance that this inn, or the energy or the vibe that this inn has created.
Radic's going to lean over to Lorik and be like, I'm thinking that maybe we should go to another establishment. This feels like it might be a slightly tad out of our price range.
I walk right up to the bar. Dolbeer and brew.
Especially, I can smell the trouble coming now.
And they kind of look at you, and the bartender, in a glass, all bartenders do, and he gets you a glass of ale, and he puts it down, and you notice that there are no mugs. There are wine glasses and big wine glasses.
Oh,
and they're so it's picture like that. Or there's like champagne flutes, and it's just, but it's a big wine glass, and that's what he gives you your ale in.
I look at it, look at him, and go, "How about a small barrel?"
Do you have a bucket?
Bring me a bucket.
So as you're saying that, he's taking someone else's coin off the counter, and he just kind of holds it to you, like suggestively, and it's like
I pull up 5 gold.
And he kind of like, thank you, sir.
What's on the wine list, I wonder?
Back to his business.
I'd drink it immediately. All right, it's good to just sit there drinking it.
Okay,
I'll take a bottle of one of your finest reds.
So explain to me what you're wearing again, Alistair.
I'm wearing pants now because I did buy 2 pair of pants.
Okay.
I mean, it's common clothes, so I mean, it's a little. I'm uncomfortable wearing them. It's like I walked into this place wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Right.
So, like,
and how's Alistair like? What's his hair like? How well kept is he? So is it like I'm trying to gather whether it's
he's still been combing his hair like multiple times a day.
Right.
I mean, he probably has, a little bit of of some stubble, but he keeps it, he keeps it trim. He will, like, if there's a play, when he's had time, he's probably tried to, to shave a bit. A little difficult on the road, but it's only been how many days? A few days, so he's not unkempt. But yeah, no, the hair looks good. Again, he's been using prestidigitation, so it's not greasy.
Okay.
And again, it's just he's a little uncomfortable. You can tell he's uncomfortable wearing these common clothes.
Okay.
But what is everybody else dressed in this place, by the way?
Nice.
Are they dressed nicely?
It's like, for the most part, it's common clothes, or like
clothes.
Common
or church clothes.
That's exactly it. Yeah, common or church clothes. That's a great way to put it. And but yeah, so there, like, you walk in and there's like a maitre d' desk immediately right there, and then across the room is the bar, and so Bjorn goes straight for the bar. Alistair, are you talking to the maitre d'?
Yeah, I would stop at the maitre d', of course. It's rude not to. Yeah. Right.
And he does take notice of the dwarf who just like rushes across, and it's like,
I apologize about him. You see, he's part of me guard, and it's hard to find good people who and he's a fine bloke, but his manners are a bit, dwarvish.
While Alistair is apologizing for him, Leork just walks across following Bjorn.
He's also
and he's like covered in the dirt of the road. He's still wearing his mail. He's got 3 rabbits hanging from his pack, along with all the tools and everything else. And he walks up to the bar and he just water.
If they're not welcome here, I'd certainly understand.
So that's it. It's like you've been traveling with him outside, and you're sleeping in the dirt, and there's a chance you can be attacked, and it all seemed like normal. You know, you've
Until I saw them with this group, I realized
that's exactly it. Like as soon as they walk in, it's kind of like you see them for the first time, and they just like Bjorn is in bloody, like dried blood.
Bloody. He prestidigitation me after I tried wiping it on him.
He did. I did.
So
I
I'm
did.
actually relatively clean.
Yeah, he's
all right, but he's all right. So he's in spiked armor, clean spiked armor,
sparkling.
and then you know, obviously there's Leoric, and it just kind of like.
I'm afraid to clean off Leoric. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been cleaning Bjorn this whole time when he hasn't been looking. But
to be fair, the only dirt on Leoric is actually from like the travels. Like he bathes and actually is kind of intent on grooming himself.
And I've noticed this, but again, I'm also still nervous to bring
it up.
Saying,
like,
yeah.
he's not
clean or dirty, he's still got, you know, the mail and the 3 dead rabbits. That's gonna.
Yeah,
I don't wear my armor most of the time.
I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
Truthfully. So, you plan on getting stabbed? Don't get stabbed.
Yeah, unless I know I'm getting in a fight.
Right.
I'm not putting this shit on. So I'd look over at Radek and just give him the stink eye. Like, just.
I'm standing by the door.
All right, good.
I came in the door, and then I stepped to the side, and I'm just watching because I know something's going to happen. I already talked to Lorik and said, I don't think we should be in here.
York is thirsty.
So if there is a place that might be more suitable for me companions, I'd understand. That being said, I would love to see the wine list and get a table.
That's there, and he looks at you, and he looks at them, and then he looks at you, and then he kind of looks you up and down, and he's like, "There is a dress code."
You know what? I would pay for whatever these folks are wearing. If you had even a casual jacket, a sport coat, it would be great. I would love something here.
And
I'll palm him like 2 gold.
That's excellent. Like as soon as you do, he looks at you and then he cracks like a smile, or not cracks a smile, but he you can see that he's pleased, and he snaps his fingers, and out of nowhere, this tiny eager looking 20-something here's the tailor.
What is it? It's a professional tickler? What did you just?
Oh yeah, fetch the tailor.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I mean, I'll take the professional tickler too, but I asked for a sport coat.
Well, I guess if I got to get the tickle before I get the clothes, it is what it is.
I mean, but if these are your customs, who am I to judge?
Right. And so he comes and he's like, so there is a dress code. Your friends are welcome to stay, but weapons and armor are not prohibited on the premises. They must adhere to the dress code.
No, of course.
Otherwise, the Shrieking Broomstick, which is the 2 buildings that way, it's the red one, might be more appropriate.
I said, well, let me. This is
having heard that Radek's going to actually exit and start making his way towards her.
So I'll just say, I'll say, let me. I apologize here. We did. This is our first time in this village, and I'm going to just walk over. I'll handle this very subtly, and we'll make sure that everything is all right. And then I will be certain to visit the tailor and get a table for one. I walk up to the other guys and say, finish your drinks, get the fuck out. You're over at the fucking broomstick next door. You can't stay here anymore. They won't.
For the record, I bought Lorik the same exact drink I have.
So so you take out your 5 gold and give it to the bartender, and he just slides it back to you, and kind of like gestures, and there's like a menu behind him, or like not a menu, but like prices and stuff.
Yeah.
And you figure, so like you've given him 5 gold. It's a common practice. People pay their tab in advance.
Yeah.
And the ale you ordered is 5 silvers apiece. So like you basically prepaid for 10 drinks. And that's
I just start laughing.
Yeah.
He's still the 5 gold is still sitting there. He doesn't know the difference between gold or silver.
Right. Well, he still has your first 5 gold, but he's not going to take your second. So,
All right. So
Well, that's a nice guy.
it works for me.
Said so.
This is 10 drinks.
No, you can't.
Yes.
You
I
can't.
slid one to you. I have one.
You can't stay
I
here.
look at it and then I watch what Bjorn does with his.
I just down it.
Leoric does
so
the
this.
same.
You
Leoric
can't.
watches for a minute and then just does the same thing.
No,
But,
you
like-
can't. You can't keep drinking. You can't stay here any longer. They don't.
what kind of is this ale? Is it like or is it like
Dwarven ale?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
dwarven ale.
So it's gonna burn, huh? So
Yeah.
It's got to be like 9% alcohol. It's like it's
Yeah,
one
I mean,
of the
like,
higher
I don't know if it's
ales.
necessarily going to
Yeah.
burn. It's a strong beer. Like
If
it's-
you're not
yeah.
used to it, though, it might.
Leoric definitely makes a face. He's just like, oh.
Well, anyway, we've had our drinks. Now it's time to be on our way. If you notice, good brother Radek is already headed out. I'm sure he has a table already waiting for you.
I'm very confused. I've got 8 more.
I'll make sure that they get
And
to
so the bartender, by the way, like the second both your cut glasses hit the table, they're refilled. He's like real quick with that. Like
I gesture for Alistair to get one as well.
and so when you say like I've got 8 more, the bartender leaves like tips are customary.
I just tossed one of the 5 gold that are on the table.
you. I'm gonna say we're gonna get into a fight here between the maitre d and the bartender.
From the birthday party.
Okay. Lily back to?
I have a motor.
And
I make sure that Alistair knows he had to drink too.
Yeah, I got it.
Drink.
Yeah, believe me, I'm gonna drink it, and then I'm gonna take it back to the maitre d, and say, we got a bit of a problem here because your bartender keeps giving them drinks. The longer he does that, the longer it is they're gonna stay. So anyway, you were talking about a tailor.
so yes, he'll be around momentarily.
Uh-oh.
I kind of understand the word you're saying, so I'll be at the bar, and then I walk.
There you go.
I walk
So you
back
go
to the.
back, bartender's talking to him, and he's like, "So, where you headed north or south?"
We didn't hear that, man.
Are you heading? Where are you heading? Are you heading north or south? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm good at
Which one of us said this? Or which one of us said that?
the bartender.
The bartender said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just look at him, south. Does Bjorn keep handing us drinks?
I've downed another drink in the meantime. For
Have you handed me one too? Or
Oh yeah, every time you finish
He
one, I
just
keep
he
handing you
refills.
one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making sure that like Bjorn is still giving them to me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm-
If Alistair's
it's
drinking
on
them
Bjorn's drink.
as fast, whoever's with me.
So I just keep pace with Bjorn.
So right when he you finish the second drinks and he is taking your mugs to fill them up for the third time, he's like, "So you guys you have a room here, right? Like it's not a big deal, but this isn't a pub. This is the tavern as part of this inn, and we're really only supposed to serve
No, of course.
patrons of the inn."
Right.
Oh, so
I-
we have a-
And another gold, and I go, I'll be on my way as soon as I finish my drink.
Okay, that's
And
yeah.
I'll be getting a room here. Yes.
I think that's a hit to get it now.
Yes. If I
He
can
looks you over.
secure
He's like, you have some other clothes? Yes.
the tailor's on his way. This has been I apologize for my outfit here and for me friends. It's been a long. We just seized a fort from the North Erglians, as it were. So.
Oh, you did you?
Yeah,
Aye.
they're gonna believe this as much as the other guys.
Aye. I said it was a miraculous. I mean, the tales will come down here. We just headed out immediately afterward because we had nothing left to prove. But yes, the 4 of us, and I look at the 3 of us,
I've down another drink.
infiltrated the fort, saved our good friend Barkner. Have you heard of Barkner?
Oh yeah, to the north there.
To
He's
the
got
north.
He's got the gate to the fucking coast. Yeah.
Right, the gate to the fucking coast. Yeah, so we...
Oh,
That
did
was
I say
taken-
fucking?
It was...
I'm not supposed to say fucking.
No, yes.
You said it
like
3
four,
times
You said
now.
it 4 times altogether, but who's counting? We're all among friends here. And
At that point, he gives you all another drink. He's like, this one's on the house. If you could, sorry,
you probably
I
shouldn't
came
be
here
plying
from
them
a
with
pub
alcohol.
a couple towns over. This place is really fancy. I'm trying to.
No, it's a beautiful
They have all these-
place.
all these
You're doing your
fucking
best.
rules.
You said
I
it
laugh and
again,
tip
but
my
that's...
glass, so I'll drink to that.
I said, but anyway, so they... hit-
Liork kind of knocks his mug against Bjorn's and then drinks and then goes, "To the fucking fort!"
Like when you knock your drinks together, the ale, spills and it hits the ground and the bar and everything, and he immediately grabs a rag and starts wiping the ale off the bar.
Ale in my beard, whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Liork
No doubt. He tries to do that, and Bourne puts his hand over. Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah,
That's still good. He's gonna laugh.
yeah, this is good.
3 quick drinks like this. Like Liork may be a giant, but he's not used to alcohol, so he's probably feeling it a little bit.
He's
Sure.
getting there, I imagine.
And he definitely he gets out his lyre and he starts getting ready to play it right in the middle of all these people.
So anyway, the fort was taken over by North Erglians, and we broke in. We found good old Barkner still alive and well.
Oh, you know what? I think I've heard something about that. Yeah, the fort got captured.
Right, but now it's back in Barkner's hands because of us. Mostly because of me. I killed at least 100 blokes.
Just
I just start laughing.
Magic.
play the lyre. I rolled a 4.
Oh, for fuck's! I said, could you put it? You're upsetting me delicate nature when you play it like that.
So that's it. You strike the first chord, and you could have swore it was E, but it's like
It's not tuned.
And,
You haven't tuned it since we left. It's like
So he goes to trying to tune it, and he gets 2 twists in, and the maitre d' is right there, and he's like, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave, or just change a lot about yourself, and maybe we can find you a room." But as I've directed your friend before, I honestly don't remember the name of the inn, but it's right
it
over
was
there. It's
something
the red one.
broomstick, the flaming broomstick or something.
Something
It was,
broomstick.
yeah.
The screaming broomstick.
broomstick.
Screaming.
And screaming broomstick. I think you will find the clientele there much more your speed.
I laugh, finish whatever drink I have left, and just go, sounds about right.
All right.
Lorx just kind of stares at him, slightly puzzled. He doesn't really understand this aspect of human society right now.
Sure. I just go, come on, big guy.
He's
Start
been-
walking to the door.
He was hanging out with North Erglians before this, so.
Oh yeah.
Don't say that around here.
Too late.
He actually says, Bjorn, I found the North Erglians much more welcoming.
What? No, you don't say. That's what he means is welcoming on the end of his blade as we took the fort.
Well, I did that too, but they were awfully nice before that.
Just
So you kill people you like.
there's imagine what's gonna happen to the people in this tavern.
Yeah.
I just start laughing and go, let's go get a different beer.
Bjorn actually really liked not Bjorn. Liark actually really liked Montauk before he had to kill him.
I throw the
Yeah.
barkeep another gold real quick. Like, thanks, man.
He just he's happy to pop it, and you see as he does, he gets kind of a little bit of a look from me, and he kind of gets a little bit haughty, and he straightens his vest and says, now, sir, I would be remiss if I didn't. North Erglians, every last North Erglian is nothing but a savage, rapist, and murderer, and a scourge upon this fine land.
Which
At
is
least
anyone.
me.
Yes.
which is why
Yeah,
we took the fort.
I actually look at him and is like, no, I killed the ones that were rapists.
It's true. We took the fort.
I just keep walking to the door.
See,
Come on.
we're wandering heroes, as it were. So what you want to understand here is not what he says, but what I say. Because there's a vast. He's had. I know he's a big bloke, but he's not used to drinking.
Alistair, but I'm speak the truth.
You do, buddy.
Once again, gentlemen, I am going to have to ask you to leave, and please never return.
You don't
And
need
he's
me.
looking at,
You don't need me
Radek
too, there,
and,
do you? I'm
Well,
assuming-
Radek left already.
Oh, so yeah, not Radek. I'm sorry. He's looking at Leoric and Bjorn as he says it, and then he looks at Alistair and he's like, "I think perhaps you should join your friends."
But
And you can see like there's a little bit like
So,
kind of in his professionalism, and he like falters for a second. He's like, "If you like, I can send the tailor over to the Screaming Broomstick."
I'd like that. And then I look at
I'm very sorry.
I look at Lorik and I shake my head.
What?
And I say, and I start to walk, and I'm like sulking, and I turn and I look at the maitre d'. Huh? No.
And he just like
And then
like he kind of looks away, like he just looks away, so he's looking like directly at you, and he just turns his head like 1 degree, but he you know what I mean. He just isn't acknowledging you.
He white fangs.
Yeah, and it's just
said, do they?
and like it seems like it's hard for him. He's like, just go.
He white
And
fangs you.
I follow Alistair, and when Alistair looks back, I follow his like gaze, or Leoric follows and like looks back at the maitre d', and then Leoric's like he pauses and like looks, and then looks back at Alistair, and he just keeps following like strange little men. Strange little men.
I just say,
Like these ways would seem very odd to you. Or just like from what you can tell, like you've done absolutely nothing to offend anyone.
Exactly.
And it's it's
I'll walk up till I'm walking next to Lorik and say, there better be fucking baths at the Screaming Broomstick.
so you guys
Leoric actually
get
like, he looks
outside.
down at you confused. He's like, I think there's baths here.
I know there's fucking baths here. I know it.
Then why do you hope there are baths at the Broomstick?
Because you got me kicked out of this fucking place.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I just start walking.
And he's not like confrontational. He's
I-
genuinely puzzled.
We'll just go and forget this ever happened.
Hmm.
And I
All
just
right, so
yell
we're gonna
back.
cut
I just turn and yell back to the
couple
maitre
minutes
d'.
ago.
Don't forget about the tailor.
He nods and he's just like kind of like trying to gesture you out the door. And we're gonna cut over to Radek because he left a couple minutes ago and see when you went outside. Radek, what'd you do?
I went looking for that red building that he had directed me toward.
Okay.
For the,
So yeah, you can see there's 2 other inns, and they're very noticeable. They're 5 times the size of any other building.
Mhm.
And there's a like brown one and a red one. The red one is got to be the one, and you get within 40 feet of it, and there's music and just commotion, like life coming from it.
Oh.
And you can see it's got the like what you see on the sign is like it says screaming, and then it's just like broken diagonally down, and you can see like the tail end of a broomstick that's on fire. But the rest of the sign has been broken away.
By the
That worked
time
out.
we get there, Radek is going to be in like one of those circular booths with like a velour chair with like women on each arm. There's
If he was somebody else, maybe. But
Give me a baller check.
all right, I can do that. Hold on a second. Here's my baller check. 7. Not happening.
He's sitting in the corner by
Yes,
himself,
caller?
silently,
So
silently
You head
weeping.
inside, Radek?
All I do is adjust. That's my bawling.
Right.
It's literally bawling. It's
So I'll go in and then I will go up to the bar, or I'm assuming there's no maitre d' or anything in this joint.
No, there's no maitre d'. There's no room at the bar. So basically what you walk into is exactly the scene that Adam described. Like if you were a baller, you could end up with girls on each arm and just like it is just a raucous sort of place. But Brother Radek stepping into it is just like instantly like not dwarfed, but just like you're probably the meekest person in here, as chatty as you are.
Heads up, I'm getting my own room, guys.
Well,
I shouldn't say me, but
it is. So all the tables are full. There's no place to sit or anything?
Well, so like there are no empty tables, no. But give me a perception check.
Okay.
Or you know what? It'd be more of an insight. Give me an insight check.
All right. I'm good at insight. Yeah, you can't tell with that.
I'm
still kind of out of my element.
Awful. It's an average roll.
No, yeah, the 10 is enough. It's not like it wasn't a super. You can just gather the way from what you see of the way people are interacting. It's not like a traditional restaurant where like you come with your people and you sit at a table and I come with my people and I sit at a table. Like you watch one person who's eating with some people just like get up with his plate and turn around and sit at the other table and start talking to these people, and it's more of like as if it were like if you had one long communal table, you wouldn't think twice about just like taking the seat next to someone because that's how it's supposed to be. And you gather that it's kind of that. Like if there's one open spot at a table and you sit down at it, it's not going to be like, people, why the fuck did you just come and sit with us? You know, it's like there's probably 3 or 4 other people there who just met the people they're sitting at the table with.
Well, that's good because that's what I was just going to go do. So I will go over and I will just find an empty spot and sit down.
And you're confident it's the right decision.
Right? Yeah, of course.
And so you sit down and the guy next to you is on the right of you is just like middle of his meal. And he's got a mouthful of food, and he just kind of gives you like, yeah. And it just like it seems like a relatively warm welcome. You know,
Gotcha.
And he goes back to eating. And the guy on your left sits down, and he's like,
Hi.
Brolin. How you doing?
Brolin.
You from around here? And he's got like a mouthful of food too, but not so much that he can doesn't have to resort to grunts.
Yeah. No. I'm actually from East Ingham. That's where I was reside. Well, I used to reside there until the calling of Amon came upon me and sent me upon traveling the road, helping people.
Hey, so
This is why you're not getting any girls, dude.
Yes, exactly.
So when you say East Ingham, he claps you on the back and he's like, "That's from around here. You're a local. There's too many tourists coming through, but you're from the sweep. You're one of us."
Yeah,
yeah. All the same.
Yeah. If you need any cobbling done, I have my tools with me. I'm a right good cobbler, and I'm always looking to make a little extra coin as I pass through. It's how I pay for things normally, because being a man of the cloth doesn't really pay very well. If you probably understand.
You're a man of the cloth. Wait, what kind of cloth? You're talking with the gods and stuff, right? You're not a cobbler and a seamstress.
No, and I it's like, well, that's why I'm wearing the orange robes and have the symbol of Amon upon my chest, and I pick up my holy symbol.
That makes so much more sense now, because I thought you looked. I mean, no offense, but head to toe bright orange is not a common choice. I don't often. But it makes sense because you're a man of God and you don't care what the ladies think. But side note, have you ever thought about becoming a seamstress? Because now that I'm thinking about it, shoes and clothes, one-stop shopping, that's very convenient. If I
know,
could get
sir,
my
that's-
clothes made at the same place I got my shoes done, I would do that. I don't want to go.
That's
to
not a
stores.
half bad idea. I might actually try and pick that skill up just for that. It coming in rather handy on the road, I must say. Yes.
I mean, if you
sure.
do women's work.
Well, it's just work. I wouldn't say it's woman's work. It's whoever picks up the needle and the threads work. That's what I would say.
I bet you would.
This fellow wants to fight you.
So how does
I
a fella get a drink around here? Does the serving lady come over, or do I have to go up to the bar and elbow my way in?
Oh, this is your first time? No, that's the best part about the screaming broomstick. Watch this. And he takes out like a hand axe, and he spins it around so it's the blunt side, and he just starts smashing it on the table, just thump, 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 thump.
Do we hear this walking over?
No, not yet.
If it wasn't for another promotion, this is right about the time you guys are approaching. And you actually, if you really stop, try to pick out. It's like if you're listening to a song, do you just listen to the song, or you just specifically try to pick out the guitar versus the drums versus?
Oh my God, we sing when we want to get served. Off on the road to Morocco.
And he just kind of it looks at you like, and he at this point you can watch him like that flip switch where it's just like, never mind, he's not worth the effort. But that's
And
when
this is where we find Brother Radek.
right, and that's you guys come in. The rest of you come in just as the waitress comes over, and he kind of like your new friend gestures the waitress to you, and like, there you go, order your drink.
Well, I appreciate that immensely, sir. I do. I could use a beverage of some sort, preferably an ale or something. And how much are rooms for rent? Do you have rooms?
Sure. How many beds?
Oh, just for myself. I could sleep in a common room as well. I'm not a picky man by any sorts. I'm very simple. And and I'm looking at her shoes. How her shoes look?
Oh man, you're gonna be labeled as a fetishist.
Okay. And also, it's a guy. It's
a guy. Okay, well, I look at his shoes. and if you need any cobbling, I'm a cobbler by trade as well as a man of the cloth, and I'd be more than willing to work out a trade, I would say, for services.
Well, you'd have to take that up with the owner, or maybe the manager. When you pay, it doesn't come to me. I can't trade anything with you.
Gotcha. Well, here I'll pay for my drink now, and then for the room, if you could then just point me in the direction of the manager. You said.
Sure. And he points to the bartender, and he says he'll sort you out. You pay him for the room as well. It's just 2 silvers. For 2 silver pieces for a common room, for 5 silver private room.
Oh,
5 silver for a private?
Yeah, well, that's excellent. Well, here, I'll order a drink anyway from you because I would hate for you to have come over for no reason. So I'll take that beer.
And then you can see, he's like, actually, you know what? Why don't you just pay me for everything, and then I'll take care of it with the bartender. We're all about convenience here at the Screaming Room.
Excellent. That's what I like, because you definitely look like an honest man that I could trust. I can tell by the cut of your jib you wouldn't do anything shysty of any sorts. That's why. And I hold him a gold piece. There you go, sir. I appreciate it. I really do.
All right, so you wanted a public room, right?
Yes.
And your drinks. And do you want a meal? You want a meal?
Yes. I'm sorry. Of course, I'm famished. Been on the road, when we were up north fighting the Anglians and whatnot, and that's about to work up an appetite walking away from that.
Sure. So you got the public or the private. So you just run math. It's like, all right. So I'm just going to need 2 more silver pieces from you, and that'll cover your gratuity as well.
I gave him a gold.
Did he give you a
I know. I know. You want to make an intelligence check to run the math?
Oh, I ain't that dumb. I might not be able to read, but I can do math. Son, I gave you a gold piece there. Open your hand. Look, it's got a yellow.
Right. So you got the gold is worth 5 silvers. And so you got 2 silvers for
is that the exchange rate? What is the exchange rate?
No, it's 10 silver pieces per gold.
Right. Oh no, that's not. It's 10 silver per gold. And I look at the other guys that's sitting at the table with me. I'm correct. I mean, things haven't gotten so crazy here in the sweep that a man the cloth doesn't know how much a gold piece is worth anymore. Does the table kind of back me up?
I've never. You look at the guy to your left, and he's like, truth be told, I've never seen a gold piece. Well, I've seen them. I've never had one. I deal strictly in. Yeah, I kind of.
Jared,
he looks embarrassed now that he has to talk. He's like, I usually have to pull my coppers to make a silver. So,
but you do know the exchange rate, son. That's what I'm saying.
While he's haggling with this, can we have busted rolled in?
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, we'll cut over and we'll come back to.
Radic,
wait. Do I notice them coming? This is what should I roll?
Well, Radic, as you're haggling, Leoric just busts in and he doesn't really do much. He just looks around like, Radic, they wouldn't let us stay.
You noticed that?
Okay, excellent. So
he's just this. He's obviously more relaxed than normal, but either way, there's 8-foot-tall dude covered in armor and carrying a big great sword.
Hopefully that happens right
followed by a dwarf in shining, sparkling armor, and just a skin guy with excellently manicured hair and a bag full of pillows and blankets.
So hopefully that happened right at when he's trying to swindle me, because then I'll look and I'll go, oh, wait a minute. That hold on a second, son. Here's my accountant right there. He knows exactly about exchange rates. And I'll wave over at Lorik. Now, hold on a second. He'll be right over and we'll get it all figured out how much that gold piece is worth.
Lorik, just
give me a perception check.
Okay.
I'm going right for the bar, by the way. I don't care who's between me and it.
22. Wow.
So, you look at Lorik, and then you say this, and you look back at Lorik, and you kind of sense something out of your peripheral, and you look like he was totally trying to slip away. It was just Son,
hold on a second. Don't go running off. No.
I apologize, sir. I think I don't see much gold myself. I had the exchange rate confused. I'm going to take this to the bartender. We'll get you all sorted out. Don't you worry. I'm going to get you a drink.
Well, thank you, son. Thank you. And then I look back and said, did you say your name was Brommel, right? Was that your name?
Brolin. It switched the L and the M. It's okay. Sorry. No one has ever made that mistake before.
My apologies. Somebody says it's amazing how much an 8-foot-tall friend can help just iron out a situation.
I wouldn't know about that, but
we'll stick around and have some drinks with us, and you might have yourself an 8-foot friend too.
At which point, Lyric wanders over. Yes, drinks. I have tried Dwarven Ale, Radic.
Here's one right now.
And he kind of sidles up to you, Lorik, and he's like, so, you and the orange guy, huh?
He follows me, and he tells me things I already know.
That's a yes. That's what a most
beautiful and accurate description of that. That's great. I love that.
It is pretty good. Yeah,
it is.
He looks at you, and he looks at Radic, and he's like, "What? I think I could do that and wear regular clothes."
He says something about the sun god that I mostly ignore. but he is good and he is useful.
Amon is very good and useful. Without the glorious sun, no crops would grow. You'd have no food to eat. You wouldn't have none of that.
Now, are you the waiter, or what is your role here, friend?
Oh, he's just a patron. He's just sitting next to.
Is there anybody playing any music in this bar?
No, it's like even if there were, it's just too rowdy. Like without amplifiers, it'll get drowned out. And I shouldn't say rowdy. It's just a lot of people packed in and just lively conversation. It's just the sound of like 50 voices at once.
Okay. That's usually how I get my bill paid.
Bartender. Dwarven ale.
All right, so how are you going to it's just big dudes, just standing room only at the bar.
I just start trying to nudge in gently, try not to spike.
Nudge in gently with your spiked armor.
Trying not to spike them. Just let them know I'm there.
Don't mind me. God, pale.
I guess that's a dexterity. Give me a dexterity check.
I have this image of him just coming up behind him and clearing his throat.
If only. I clicked the wrong thing.
21.
Oh, all right, cool.
21.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to just kind of like sidle in, and just the little pricks of your spikes are enough to like people just kind of like you move out of your way. You're still like nose high to the bar, so you're just like this little head poking over, and it takes you a little while to get the bartender's notice.
Not noticing, I just raise my fist and bang it on the bar. Just bang. And
that's like it's not out of place. Like there's just like a lot of people just banging on the bar, and
he grabbed me.
Sorry, I'm freaking out my cat. But yeah, eventually, someone comes to you and you go, well, fuck, what are you doing out of your mountain? Guys, we got a dwarf. We don't get your lot too often. You'll be wanting the dwarven brew, I imagine. Ale or fire water?
Both. For me and my friends.
Excellent.
Full keg if you can.
I'll be right back while they drink.
It's not that easy.
Well, you got the gold.
How much?
I honestly don't know.
I just toss him 10.
I don't think that's enough.
15.
Hold on. I don't know if I can sell a keg. I sell pitchers.
Give me a pitcher for each person then.
Well, that I can do. And like if people are kind of taking notice and they're like, hold on. Get him a keg. And they're like, you can see him. They're like, you hear like guys are like, no, he's 4 feet tall. He can't drink a keg. And they're like, he's a dwarf. I've heard the dwarves can drink. And
he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
Is this like loud over the crowd too, or?
No, there's like nothing's going to be loud over the crowd unless it was like no conversation. Like it's one of those where you have to kind of yell to the person talking to. And so I mean, if you're right there, then you hear it. If not, then you can like it's enough like visually. If you're looking at the bar, you can gather that there's something like people are taking notice of Bjorn, but you can't gather why. Okay. And so there's like, and then you can see like some people throw down a couple coppers, some people throw down a silver piece, and they're like, "Get him a keg." The guy's like, and he's like counting on his fingers, and he's telling me he's like, "Keg lasts 2 days. Is 70 drink." It's the what? I don't. 20. I
just handed him 20.
20, and he's like I honestly don't know if I robbed you or if I'm getting fired.
I throw an extra one on top of that. Be like, that's for you.
it'd be a nice severance package anyway.
I actually love that you insulted the halflings about and then you're just throwing 20 gold at a kid.
Anybody to give him a beer.
You just gave him 20 gold and a whole keg.
He could have paid for both of your boat rides. With the amount of money he spent on beer.
The boat rides are hundreds of gold.
So this is close. He's at like 25. He's at 30, actually. I'm pretty sure.
250.
That was I could.
Yeah. So this is the way.
That's accurate.
This is the way ship economy works. In Navarra, specifically around the Eastern Sweep, like trying to sail anywhere over there, is think of it like airplanes. So because you like, to me, the logic implies like, oh, you're shipping goods over there, you're sailing there anyway. You have room for one person. Like whatever I'm willing to pay you is money that you should just be happy to have because you're going there anyway.
No one's going.
Well, no, like they absolutely are. But if you went to an airport and we're like, guys, you're flying to Miami anyway, you've got 5 unsold seats. I'll give you $30. Do you want $30 or not? Like it's $30 you wouldn't have. They're gonna be like, fuck you, give me $400 just like everybody else, or fuck off. You're not paying us for our convenience. You're paying us for your convenience because you can either take a 6-week boat ride where you don't have to do shit and are relatively safe, or you can spend 3.5 months getting murdered in the Eastern Sweep.
Yeah, which is what we opted for.
Right. Well, I want, because 250 gold for a boat ride, it would seem exorbitant. And you might that was the Halfling ship, which was a nice ship, and
it was an expensive boat.
It was a nice ship if you weren't 8 feet tall.
Right. Yeah. Well, you just lay down. You get 3 beds and you just don't ever stand up. You crawl in and just sleep.
You know what I just thought of? We could have probably stayed in that town and waited for another boat that just wasn't.
It wasn't a port town.
Not probably. I specifically told
he
you.
Did just say, he said in the beginning of this, the very first thing he said was we could wait for another boat.
Yeah.
And I specifically said, I'm not paying for your passage.
Okay. That's true.
I'm glad at least one of you listens. So when I say this shit, like, he's not just making it. He really did say that. Maybe better if none of you listen. So like, guys, I told you specifically this would happen. No, you didn't.
Nope.
No.
I do not recall that at all.
So
as this is happening, there's a lot of hubbub around. They're bringing kegs out. There's whatever the closest table to the bar is. I want to hop up on top of it.
All right.
And I say,
an acrobatics check.
Oh, sure, that's no problem at all. I say that I'm going to roll a 1. 23.
Oh yeah. So you you don't even have to step up onto like the stool or anything. You just time it perfectly with because it's the same thing. It's a crowded table, and there's 2 guys everybody's kind of shoulder to shoulder, and you catch it just as one guy is leaning over to his left. Then this spot opens up, and you just leap.
I just leap, put my hand on his back, propel myself up. In the air, I flip the loot around because it's around my back. Land on the table. I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat. You've met Alistair Grant and his amazing friends, the Dwarf of Spikes, the Giant of Hayfield, and Brother Orange."
Brother Orange,
Brother Spray Tan.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I'm no performer.
And then I don't listen to you, and I say, "Let the drinks be flowing and the music be playing," and I play.
Give me a performance check with advantage, because as you do this and you speak with 0 attention paid to the table, you expertly, with that acrobatics, there's plates and mugs and shit all over this table, and you just land on exactly a tiptoe position between a plate and a mug, and your foot hits without hitting anything, and you step backwards and your other foot finds the 3 square inches of free real estate, and you spin as you talk, and you never like. It's like you're like navigating like a laser security system, but like completely nonchalantly, just
While playing
walking
a lute.
this table and not hitting anything.
25 with.
And yeah, so it doesn't
And I'm walking,
completely
I strut
fall
my
silent.
stuff, and I'm so strung out. I'm high as a kite. I just might stop to check you out. Let me go on as I blister in the sun. Let me go on. Big hands, I know you're the one. And then,
Sorry.
and I'm assuming everyone's singing along with me because this is a very popular song here in Ravanna.
Yes.
It's yeah.
So like it's
Sure.
the first verse you go through, and there's like yeah. When you get to that part where it's like, let me go on, and it's just like, yeah, the place breaks out. And they're all singing with you. And
If
way
this
to
doesn't
go.
get me a fucking ale, I'm gonna be annoyed though. By the way, that's
Oh yeah, so not from a. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself an ale. It's not working. We'll have a break coming up. I'll have to hold off. But yeah, that's what like. It's not from a waiter or anything. You're singing, and like next thing you know, there's an arm clasped around you and an ale thrust at you, and you have to stop playing the lute. But everybody's singing, and it doesn't matter.
that's all I wanted.
Leoric pulls out his lyre and starts playing with him.
Excellent.
Nice.
Alistair, give me a perception check.
Me? Or
Alistair.
Alistair.
Let's see.
I got a 10.
Luckily, my perception is shit
Advantage
too.
because you're helping out
Oh.
Alistair. You get it, yeah.
Nice.
Or you get to benefit of his like warming up the crowd for you.
I-
So
You said I have
Two-
advantage?
Oh wait, was that persuasion or performance?
Perception.
performance.
Perception, right? Oh,
Oh,
performance.
Oh, perception. Yeah. It was perception. You don't see anything. You're caught up in the moment.
Yeah, no.
Josh, you said I have
know it's
advantage?
nothing.
Yeah, you have advantage, Josh. You can roll again.
Ooh.
There you go. Yeah, you're playing the
There you go.
bass
So
line
it's like-
with the lyre. Boom, 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 boom.
And that's exactly like so. Adam is.
By the
or,
way, the
Alistair-
bass player
Stop
from the Violent Femmes is the reason that I have an acoustic bass because he's fucking
Excellent.
awesome.
I can do it.
I'm not as
And
good.
yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like you stop playing the lute because you're just getting kind of jostled, and everybody's singing, and there's like a pause between verses, and there it comes in with the the bass, and everybody's just like they turn, they're like yeah, like it was just the timing was so perfect. And like they're all drunk, and that's just the feeling of this place where you can just walk in and start singing, and people are going to be on board.
And then the tailor
yeah,
walks
so-
in. The tailor walks in, looks around, and immediately leaves.
That's what the perception check was. It's the tailor's just standing at the door, shaking his head. Like, I thought you were better than this, Alistair.
That's awesome.
I fucking love that Josh called that. So meanwhile, back at the bar,
I'm fully on the bar now. I climbed it.
give me an athletic check. I want to see you waddle your fat little dwarven ass.
That's fine. That's
16.
fine.
There you go.
Oh yeah, okay. So even without a bar stool to help you, it's just you
I
just
just like
and this poor fucking bartender, like they usually bring out the kegs like 2 or 3 people at a time and get them like 70. And he's just having to like, like that pivot where it's like you pivot it 4 inches this way, pivot it 4 inches the other way.
I'm looking for a waiter. I'm like, help him!
And yeah, there's like
There's no one.
and you just watch as he struggles and he gets it like outside, just outside the door. And he has to like set it down. He's wiping his head.
And now you're on his bar,
Yeah.
which he has to keep clean.
Right. And like he looked up at you and he's like, I did the math. I'm gonna get fired.
That's another 10 gold, no hesitation.
Excellent.
So another 10 gold. You want 40?
Physically toss him the 10
We're up
gold.
to
No,
40,
wait for
yeah.
me.
Okay.
We're at least 35. At least 35.
Just picture him tossing 10 loose gold in this place.
If nothing
I
else,
know the reason
Like it was like I was one guess away from like, all right, guys, bar fight. Right? Watch her going in. There's gold to be had.
You're gonna get fired, huh? How about fired and robbed?
This is like the commoner's version of a plot hook. Like you guys go and see someone who needs you to do a job for them. Their version is I went to a bar and they threw gold on the floor. It was on the floor, guys.
Awesome.
I was so close, but then I lost an eye. And I'll be winners.
Side note, Jake's previous character named Bjorn actually lost an eye and died in a bar fight.
Yeah. That was like what was it? You lost
I
at
lost a
darts
bet.
and just refused to pay.
Yeah.
What happened? We were playing a game I was running, and his character went into the bar, and he first he ordered a drink, and then he had no money, so he was like putting up his own goods like that he used. And then he used those goods to back a bet for playing darts, but he had no skill at anything relevant to throwing darts. So he lost, and then like they're like, well, pay up, and he's like, because he lost the first like time or two, and then he goes double or nothing. and then he lost, and he had just like he had absolutely nothing to pay them what he owed. So they start a fight, and they were just gonna beat him a bit, like a bar fight. It wasn't gonna
teach him a lesson.
Yeah, and then he drew a dagger. And
he bit out his throat.
No, that's what it
his throat out with his
That's right. The guy, they tackled him, and so he's like, I bite his throat out. And I'm like, really? What? It wasn't D&D. It was a different system. And then he rolls and he does it and he bites the dude's throat, and so he's got this corpse flopping around on top of him, like died out. And then and everyone else is like, that was our friend, and they just pile on and stab him
to death.
right through the eye. The first one.
On that note, how
He
about a break?
Was really determined to get himself killed.
Unintentionally too. I didn't want to die.
Nobody wants.
But
to
his
die.
character.
Right? Nobody.
But anyway,
wants to
Let's
die.
take a break so Adam can take a pee.
I was just gonna say that seems like a perfect place to take a pause for the cause, and the cause is getting me booze.
Yeah. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with Ravanna here on D&D Friday. Now we're back.
Yay!
Thanks for waiting around, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you did, but we had some interesting conversations during the break.
We've all been back.
Watching children's
for about
movies.
3 minutes.
Yeah, so sorry. Anyway, here we are. So at this point, Alistair's like in like a corner booth, and there's I'm assuming there's some some attractive ladies there, maybe even some gents. That's cool too. And he's still
You've
playing.
got one of each.
Yeah, he's still playing the lute. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spot. Lied, losing my religion. And I do that specifically for Brother Radek, just to annoy him.
But I don't understand how that would annoy me, sir. You cast off the shackles of a false religion so that you can accept them on into your heart. I like it.
Radek's had a few to drink too, apparently.
He's got like a contact high. Speaking of which, you all have contact highs. It's just a thick perfume of ocean smoke throughout this place.
so how's this take?
So that's what I'm
Yeah, so the guy is like just exhausted. Hey, my wife's home. Hi, wife.
Hey, wife.
Hello.
She just put down a pink-eyed baby. drove him for an hour and a half. And
Put down.
put him down.
Put down is not.
It sounded like you said because
That's
you broke up.
Put him
She
down,
just
he's
put,
dead.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold
you know
on,
why?
hold on.
'Cause you
I
have
know.
not kids.
Hold on. This is important. It sounded because you broke up. It sounded like she just put down a pink-eyed baby.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It's like, oh man, M's had a hard day killing babies.
No, she just insulted him. All right.
They have antibiotics for pink eye. You don't need to put them down.
Well, no, she was just making fun of him about it. Like, look at your stupid pink eye, you dumb baby. Put him down.
They prefer the horse doctor method.
The kid's got a broken ankle. Just can kill him.
It's not necessary. Shh.
It's tradition.
It's
all right?
okay. You'll never race again. You don't want to live like this.
He'd prefer it this way. You think he wants to
George
go
is-
live on
George
a
is all like,
farm? And,
I can pull a plow. Honest, I'll do it. I'll make it work.
Hey, no, it's okay.
especially think about like you have a prime racehorse and they can't race anymore. What is the one thing they're still good for?
Horse stuff.
Studying. So it's like, I'm sure he would much rather be murdered than spend the rest of his life fucking women.
No, it's okay.
David,
It's
sorry.
okay. Hey, I'm going to tell you a story. Do you want to know where glue comes from? Bang!
If it's a valuable racehorse, they will stud it. But if it's one that hasn't won shit and they don't feel like it's worth studying, that's when they're assholes.
Secretariat 2 coming soon to theaters. All right.
This
So
time,
anyway,
it
D&D
sucks.
Friday.
D&D Friday. All right, so after a few minutes of watching this poor bartender
Sorry, I
struggle,
never put that way.
a couple of the guys who are more interested in seeing this happen just pick the keg up and put it on the counter and smash a tap into it, and ale goes spraying everywhere, and they're just drain it.
I just get under the tap and start doing exactly that.
Give me a con save.
Alrighty. Where is it? Yep.
Checks.
Yeah, I always do that every time. Do I have advantage for that?
Nope.
No shit.
Dwarf fail. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sweet. Hopefully by some circumstance. Otherwise, this is gonna go very badly.
I will say in blankets, any con saves you have for drinking ale have advantage.
All right.
You got a practiced belly.
It makes a good story.
So I'm just chugging this keg.
All right, so he goes for 44 seconds before he has to come up for air. And there's just like a thunder of applause. And then it's just cleared by this deafening belch. And people just clap on the back and he just...
Immediate laughter. And if there's any still coming, I'm going for it again.
All right, this time, give me just a regular con save, no advantage. Yeah, you just go at it again. And wait a minute. Yeah, it's this time, not quite as long. It's another 10 or 15 seconds, but you probably went through, I don't know, 20% of that keg already.
Someone grab his... Oh, Laura, grab his feet and hold him upside down.
Actually,
So at this... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Laura.
I was gonna say if provided when Bjorn steps away this time, Lorik is like, may I?
I love how he's still so
Everyone's like, no! He has to drink the whole thing. He ordered a keg. He's going to drink a keg. And you're like, a mug.
I was totally just gonna pick up the whole keg and then hold it like this.
Oh, all right. So I thought you said like they might have understood that then. They thought you were asking for some of the keg.
Oh no, like it really doesn't matter what they say. It's up to whatever Bjorn says.
Right. But Bjorn at this point is just full. It has nothing to do with ale. He just has like
He's literally full.
400 ounces of fluid inside him right now. Like, gotta turn that into piss.
It's just gotta drain out.
Well, we're gonna assume Lure just because it's may I, and then he does just grab it and just.
Well, we'll say that was before the second time. So his second one was and you're just that's a lot of fucking ale.
All right.
All
Hell
right, so it kind of gets like raucous for another like half an hour before it kind of settles back into like there's just a lot of excitement with the singing and this dwarf doing something epic and then like after a little while, Bjorn has to take like a slower approach. Still, just like now he's got a glass and he's getting out of the keg and drinking like a normal person.
I'm for the record, every time I get a chance, I'm giving Raddick, York, and Alistair just beers out of it every chance I get.
No, they won't let you.
Oh, okay.
That like you can order them beers, but you have to drink that
all
keg.
right.
They want to like
drinking this keg.
there's bets. Like there are people
okay.
gambling on this. And, it's
so
like,
they didn't react well to me grabbing it?
Sorry, say it again?
They didn't react well to me grabbing the keg and taking a swig?
No. They're like
they'd be mad.
yeah, they're like it's not like a mad thing. They're like everyone is excited and happy about it.
Suddenly, all these happy Inns folk are now they get their pitchforks and torches out.
The giant.
Yeah. How dare you! If this dwarf doesn't get his stomach pumped by the end of the evening, we're not happy.
Drink to death. Drink to death.
All right.
But so half hour goes by. Alistair is settled into a corner booth, entertaining. Like people are just seem to be hanging on every word, and there's now rumors spreading around that these guys have taken a fort.
This guy's taking a
like,
fort.
I heard
by
it was
the
a
way.
whole castle. And I was like, I heard they're emissaries from Dorlam, and they have noble blood. That one is like a dwarven.
Yeah, whoa. The only noble blood is over here. These guys are just ancillary parts of the story.
Hey man, the rumors take a life of their own. I don't know what
That's it. That's how it goes. Like you're spinning like a very reasonable to you tale, or like even like the fort thing being completely true is like it kind of seems far fetched. But the shit you hear coming around back to you is this place is a rumor mill. There's just like a bunch of drunk, excited people who
We're
are
famous all of a sudden.
It's like a fucked up game of telephone. It's like they took a fort. No, they took two forts. Like they made a fort out of pillows, but it like a real fort. It's fucking 70 feet high.
I am carrying a bag of pillows and blankets, so that is. I see where that one came from. Yeah.
The sun rises because that guy in the orange robe says so.
Don't look directly at him; you'll go blind.
Blind.
Definitely don't
At some point
masturbate.
during the evening, when I get like well and truly drunk, like I'm a little like wobbly, I end up just kind of sitting by the fire and just polishing the sword that I like, the great sword that I am, and like it just paying weird attention, so where you can see like someone like if anyone notices, they probably see like the skull pommel and all that shit.
Yeah, see, I'm working
Yeah,
on
so
getting
like
other
the
people to
first
polish
couple-
my sword for me.
That was an innuendo.
You know, I got to say though, Alistair, I really don't think that Lorik's in for that.
No. Love is love.
He's pretty drunk.
Oh, all right.
Holes is hole.
You know, I'm not sure what Leoric's into. We'll see.
So
All right.
naturally, like this giant savage-looking guy pulling out a sword, mostly just kind of like a little pit kind of empties around him, or not pit, but just, it's just like it's a pretty crowded place, and all of a sudden he's got 4 empty feet on any direction.
And
The
he's,
mosh pit broke out.
and he's drunkenly humming a
But reverse.
song while he does it.
Yep. But after a few minutes, someone kind of takes notice and comes over. He's like, "That is a fine blade."
Leoric stops humming and just like grunts like affirmative.
It's like you've got where did you get this?
It was my father's.
I was. I'm sorry. You
goes back to humming the funeral song while he's not dismissing him. He just starts humming it because he's
sure. Yeah. You mind if I ask, where was your father a knight, or how do you know how he came across this sword? This is you know what this sword is, yes?
As soon as I find the page where I wrote it down, yes.
He'll wait.
Where did I put it?
Well, that's the skull of the fallen god. You know the right? The skull of the fallen god. And he like can't tell if it's a question. He's asking if like he's assuming, how do I put it? He's trying to be polite. So he's assuming that you know what your sword is, but like is still interested in talking about it.
This sword is judgment. It is held by the keeper of truth.
Well, I mean, all more power to your customs, but that's the skull with the jaw missing. It's this is a powerful. There's magic in this sword. That's that pommel. There is
truth in this.
I'm a bit of a
There's magic in my
connoisseur.
sword too, by the way. Just throwing it.
Hey! the women to either side of you with all these one-liners are just like super seduced. He's so witty. Just
Why not my own room, gents? I'm sorry. No common room for this guy. Although the way things are going, I might need the whole common room. I don't know.
There you go.
Braddock unwittingly bought him a room himself a bed in the middle of an orgy.
And then in a fun way, weird way,
you know.
That was part of his secret evil plan.
He's
Hey
gonna.
guys, I'm sorry. I already bought the bed.
Like five silver. You can just 5 silver watch. That's it.
So we're gonna come back to Leoric, but yeah, but the guy had left it was saying he's a bit of a connoisseur of the arcane antiques. He seems really interested in the skull. But meanwhile, we got Bjorn's working on a keg. Alistair is in his element. Brother Radek, what you doing?
I've just been nursing my beer. I'm not getting drunk, just taking in the ambiance and watching everything. I figure somebody needs to stay sober and at least cognitive for what might end up happening if something happens. Besides that, he doesn't overindulge anyway, so he's just trying to make polite conversation.
Make a peer pressure check.
How do I do that?
You want to send tankards of
just a flat D20 roll.
Wisdom. What about wisdom? Right?
Wisdom. Make it a wisdom.
Wisdom save? Okay. 11.
Yep. That's you decide that it would be rude not to accept a drink. One drink can't hurt. So you're nursing your ale and you do a shot.
Speaking of rude, Glorian69 is here for the small penis looking at Jake. And tips 5, whatever the things people tip are. Bid. Thank you.
What's up, Rob?
How's it going, Rob? Thank you. Thanks for following.
Hi, Rob.
But yeah, so you do the one shot and you're talking and it really doesn't seem too bad. So when they offer you another one, you accept that one as well. And when the third one comes, you figure, that the first two, you seem fine. You're totally in control. So the third one comes and then you realize that your ale is gone. This really has been pretty good ale. Like it doesn't usually taste this good, but it just seems delicious. So another ale comes. And you're about 5 drinks in there, Radek. You just kind of slipped unknowingly into being drunk because you don't want to be rude. And these guys, to their credit, while they're drinking with you, are very open to the word of Amon. They're all of a sudden they're very interested in your orange robe.
I have an extremely high internal body temperature, which allows me to internalize alcohol at a higher rate.
Because I didn't realize you weren't.
That's a pretty good roll. That's a pretty good roll.
No, I'll be drinking definitely for sure.
I was going to say Radek's going to wake up in Alistair's room with a whole bunch of people he's never seen.
That wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing for Radek. Just saying.
There's bodies everywhere, passed out.
Yeah, that's like Radek is the only one of you that's secured a room so far, but I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Right?
Yeah.
So far, seems like that kind of piece. Like it's one of those, like as long as we collect room fees from at least half these people, they're all just going to pass out wherever they pass out, and that's the party.
But the room,
but yeah. So
I got a common room anyway, so I'm going to be in a common room anyway you slice it. So
right, that's so. As you're drinking with these guys, they are super interested in hearing about Amon. And you feel like you haven't had this good of a conversation in years.
And I'm way too into Amon to be suspicious of that. So I'm just I will just both barrels into trying to tell them the greatness of the sun god and why they too should follow him. And I'll give them the whole crops can't grow speech, blah, blah, blah.
And they're like really, so it's kind of like it's like you're trying to DM a game with a bunch of drunk people where and you just go off onto tangents and you're talking about life and bullshit, and you like every so often you steer the conversation back to Amon, and they're like asking really like intuitive questions, and they're like, well, no, but I heard this about this other god, and if this is true, like how can your god be the only one god? There's more than just the sun. There's water and.
Well, he's not the only god. He's just the most powerful god, and all other gods, they're beneath him.
But isn't that sacrilegious to put down any god? Why does there have to be?
Well, it's not a matter of putting them down. It's a matter of just saying this is how it is. I'm
better. But Radek, I'm better than you. That's hurtful, right? That's not a nice thing to say.
I'm not better than anyone. Amon is better than everyone. I am not.
That just seems unnecessarily competitive.
Oh no, it's not. It's only competitive if the other folks have a shot, which they don't. You have to understand. So,
all right. Meanwhile, Lorik, the guy he's talking to, and he says the fallen god actually wasn't a god at all. And forgive me if I'm telling you something you know, but I really do love this story. So yes, the fallen god. This was somewhere in the neighborhood 2,700 years ago. Out in the wildwood, there was a king of the heathens, if you will, the savages, and monsters and dragons and orcs, and just it's very dangerous out there. But this one king rose up. And it was said that he was a dwarf who was cast out from his society, but he was a master enchanter. And he found his way into the wildwood and stumbled upon much of it is lost to history, but he'd come across this very rare metal that he was able to work with. And he started enchanting these items. And it started with common items at first, but there's something about this metal. It held magic in a way that most metals can't. And he ended up becoming, for all a king and beyond, that many people referred to him as a god, and some certainly still worship him as one. For the magic that he was able to imbue into these items was phenomenal. After a while, he strictly turned to the skull. Most are intact. Some are missing the jaw. There's some sort of significance to this, but I don't know. It's beyond me. I'm not a true historian, but I've taken an interest in this legend and magical items. Any legend revolving around relics is very fascinating to me. But anyway, so the fallen god, he did, I believe it was like just over 100, 120, 110 of these skulls, and each one had a unique and powerful enchantment. Do you mind? Can I see? Can I hold your sword? I understand men. Especially, it seems like the bigger the man, the more personal he is with his sword. I do not wish to offend, especially you.
Lyric just kind of stares at him. You may look,
but don't touch.
Well, I've been looking for an hour.
Alistair's been saying look and touch for most of the evening.
Well, at this point, Alistair, you're going to or it's going to be an entirely different show.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm going to get a performance
Won't
check.
you tell me your name?
With disadvantage statement. You understand as well.
Lurk would be very suspicious of him just because of the nature of everything.
And he is like very understanding to that. And if you say no, he's like completely prepared for that. But it's
flying insight.
Yeah, you make an insight check.
Do I have a disadvantage or anything from drinking? Or?
No, it'd just be straight insight.
11.
He seems like he's on the level. His enthusiasm seems sincere. If he came up with that story off the top of his head, it's pretty thorough.
Yeah. But that's what con artists do.
That's true. That is true.
And
that's pretty much like it all.
By the way.
That's the dilemma in your head. Is like it seems very believable, but all lies should. Like that's the point of life.
Is there like a crowd still in front of the door and everything? Like hard to get through?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like being at a concert right now. Maybe not quite as tight, but it's like there's no
once he leaves this little circle around people being nervous because I had a sword out. Like he's still got to get through a press of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's
and even that
a little
is
tighter
kind of
now
closed
because
up a little bit.
All right.
So yeah, even in the time you've talking to him, that hole is mostly closed up. People are like they're apprehensive at first, and they just see you talking to some guy about your sword, and it's like, okay, never mind. It's not.
Once you're not swinging it around angrily.
I'll let him take a look.
Right.
I'll for a moment.
And so he looks at it. He kind of examines the skull, and he's like, "Oh, this absolutely is." So you see the way this metal was forged. They're typically when something is put into a mold, there's a seam where you can tell. It's I don't know how familiar you are, and personally I'm not, so I don't know exactly. But they're like the thing with this is it's seamless. This was liquid metal just commanded to form the shape of a skull. There was no mold, no pouring. It's as if he spoke to it and it commanded him, or it obeyed him. And
I feel like Lorik is going to get lucky before Alistair will here.
This doubles as just a truly magnificent.
It's the mold, man.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, put it up your butt. You won't be disappointed. That's how we roll in Ravanna. Judge, sorry. Everybody's got something.
Did I just get a butt plug +3?
Wow.
Everyone has a very specific pleasure or a very specific power. Every skull. Yours just happens to be angry.
All right.
I'm sorry that
Glorian69 just cheered 2 more bits saying now it's a party.
I've decided just to pander to Rob. But so after a minute, he's like, "Yes, there's no doubt that this is a relic of the fallen god." But then he mutters something and waves his hand over, and he says, "The magic inside it is, I don't know, dormant or gone. But as far as I know, you can't take the magic. I don't understand. This you should take this to someone
just kind of growls and
meet in the tavern." I'm sorry, say that again.
Lurk, while he's talking, Lurk's just kind of growling in acknowledgement as he reaches for it.
Oh yes, and he hands it directly back to you, and he goes, "This is very peculiar."
While he's still talking, Lurk's actually like with the cloth he had been oiling it with. He polishes off the guy's handprints.
Of course.
This is only getting more sexual, not less.
Oh yeah,
Just-
he looks right in the eye while he does it.
Just pointing it out.
Polishing his handprints.
So it basically ends with him suggesting that you take this to an expert because there is something very peculiar about the enchantment that is on the skull. But he does say that he's pretty sure that it is enchanted. There's some sort of magic in it, whether it was there certainly was at one point, whether it's gone or suppressed or something. There's something off about it. But it just keeps it very peculiar, very peculiar.
So, just a quick recap because I may have been having a few drinks myself tonight.
Sure. I hope you're not relying on me to clarify any of this because I don't remember what I said either.
Excellent.
Let's go back and watch the tape.
This
Right.
fallen god, did he describe more about who this fallen god was? I know there's the dwarven myth.
Yeah,
Right.
so say a dwarf who, and he did kind of trail off, but if you ask, he'll, like he did, he got into the making of the skulls and then just got all caught up on the skulls and never went back to the fallen god.
Who is this fallen god?
Radek raises his hand.
He ain't a mon, I'll tell you that. The
See if
sun
I
is
heard
still
that.
up in the sky. It falls every day, but that's on purpose.
No, see, that's a common misbelief, son. See, what it really is that the sun, it's stationary in the space, and the planet revolves around it because it is the center of the universe. And when it's behind you, you can't see it.
That doesn't make any sense.
And
at all.
they're like, what the fuck's a planet? And someone's like, what the fuck's a universe? What the fuck's the sun?
Yeah, see,
I'm
these are
sorry,
all
you did
complicated things that you will learn once you take them on into your heart and allow me to preach unto you.
I'm starting to think this illiterate priest is actually onto something.
That's what I was just gonna say. He's spouting a lot of fucking science for someone who can't read.
No,
Well, just
it's
because
all-
you can't read doesn't mean that you can't be taught.
If you're in the
He's
chat,
Well, then
just
why didn't anyone teach you to read?
for those in the
Because it's
chat, just
hard.
let us know if we're still on, because I see that on my phone here, Wicked Studios just went offline.
It looks like we're still.
We're
on.
counting on you,
Okay.
Rob.
Looks like it's
That's
still on.
a sort of, I
We're
don't
back.
know, perverse indicator that you can hear us.
Yeah. It's there. All right.
All right.
We'll chalk
So, yeah,
that
some
up
more
to a
on
technical
knowing,
misunderstanding.
like complex physics, but not the letter E.
Well, that's because the person who taught it to me was a priest of Amon himself, and he was about teaching me the religion. And well, you don't need to read to learn, and it's a common misconception.
See, I was thinking.
Wait. So you learned all about another guy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was taught by another priest. He said he saw the
But what
spark
if he
in me.
lied to you?
Well, I know it's not because I've spoken to him on.
But so one time I thought I was speaking to like a really attractive woman, and it ended up not being a really attractive woman. It ended up just being
It's
like a
called
regularly
Being
attractive woman.
drunk and sobering up, son. That's what happened to you.
From the corner,
It's
you
called
hear,
magic. Have
"My
you
name
heard
is
of
Luca.
magic?
I live on the second floor."
Well, of course, I've heard of magic. I can works and feats of magic, which is gifted upon me from Amon himself.
Get the fuck out! Do some magic, dude. Yeah, and then he's like, this guy can do magic.
And then I'll just
I turn to the people next to me. Well, I could do magic too if I wanted to, but it's a little ridiculous if you do it just for an audience. Although, if you'd want to, I would love to show you.
And so I'll create.
Alistair has said all the right things.
Yeah,
I'll create light.
And they're like, holy sh.
So when he does that, I just strum slightly the lute, and all of these different colors. There's yellows and blues and greens and pinks and purples and reds come and they float around Radek, and then they form into what looks like a vague outline of Alistair, and just dances around Radek while he's doing this. And then I just give a little wink to the people next to me.
And I say, as you can see, even a mom will bless a man such as Alistair with his powers.
So, the Alistair thing goes because it's light and it's still it's mostly goes unnoticed. But there's been a few things where when Jake is talking about drinking the keg, or Lorik pulls out his sword, where people have taken notice. But this is the first time every single eye in the bar is on you, and it's silent. And so you summon this ball, and you hear someone whisper, he holds the sun in his hand. And then the lights start floating around, and it's just quiet. And then from somewhere back near the bar, you hear, glory to Amon! And everyone is their beers.
You know, correct.
And then you hear,
she
she drives a fast car. I'm gonna walk out of here. She's
Oh, that's good stuff.
And that's the last thing you guys remember. Everyone give me con saves.
Oh boy, that's a lot for me.
See, I got feeling good when people started saying glory to Amon, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, you did way too much.
I got 22. I accidentally sent it to you instead of.
Oh wow, you got a 7.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I got a 7.
I got a 11.
I failed magnificently.
Right. Was that Jake with the 24?
So we're gonna go.
Yeah. I got a 22.
In order.
I did the private.
We'll start with Bjorn at the top with his 24. He wakes up, arms cuddled, spooning his empty keg.
He's actually attached to it now with all those spikes.
It's a wooden keg, and as you wake up, you realize that it's broken, and it's gone, and you feel something, and there has been a crown made out of the broken pieces of keg that rests on your head. And, you vaguely remember, polishing off an entire keg and being just regarded as someone who has it.
I hope
and you feel
crown
absolutely fit. You take a 4.5 minute long piss. It's like you didn't know you had 3 bladders, but apparently you do.
My concept was also to see if I pissed myself.
Oh no, not with a 24.
Yeah. Well, if I did.
Dwarven fortitude.
And so go next is Radek.
Oh
Yeah.
Radek, you ain't feeling great, man.
No.
You're green. It's you. The booze is just coming out of your pores. You remember very quickly how old you are, and have never regretted anything more.
Well, I've got spells, and I think I'm going to cast a spell of healing on myself.
Lesser restoration.
You're not damaged. You're hungover. There's no wounds.
Lesser restoration.
I don't have it.
Yeah,
I don't have anything currently that's going to help me with this.
Oh no!
All right, so you try to heal yourself, but it's just not the
No,
right thing.
I'm gonna go get coffee. That's how I'm gonna heal myself.
Yeah.
And some greasy food.
Mm-hmm.
And you wake up, by the way, face down on the table you were sitting at drinking with these guys. And like everyone
Makes
else is gone. And we'll bring ourselves now to Lorik. Lorik, you wake up in a private room. And that's your money purse indicates you didn't pay for, but just kind of ended up in. Just like you remember every single thing that happened. It was a lovely night. You've got some very interesting information about your skull or about your sword, as well as a couple names to look up in Dorleman of people who might be able to help you learn a little bit more about it. And you feel fantastic. You feel just completely refreshed. You slept like a baby.
I go downstairs looking for more ale.
Oh no! Look what we've done to him. We've turned him into an addict.
Not like to chug. Just like I like the taste. I'm enjoying it now.
That's how it always starts.
That's what they always say. I'm in control.
No, I just
like the taste.
I don't need to drink it. I just like to drink it.
I can stop.
Taste.
I can stop anytime I want. I just don't want
That's
you
right.
right now.
That's right.
This isn't the right time. I'm very thirsty and I love the taste.
At least it wasn't.
Right, so you head downstairs, and it's kind of like the aftermath of like a television party, where there's just like probably a dozen people passed out at various places in the bar.
I'm standing up, still wearing the crown, by the way. At this point.
No, well, yeah. So you wake up, yeah, and there's like you come downstairs, and Bjorn is already sitting at the bar drinking an ale, wearing a wooden crown. Radek is still passed out, face down on the table with his 7. And there's just like a dozen other people just strewn across the floor and the tables and on the bar, all various forms of naked, or various degrees of naked. And there's just like half and quarter filled mugs of ale everywhere, and there seems to be no one official anywhere. Like there's no bartender, there's no waiter. It's just this.
I actually just go into where I assume there's a kitchen.
Yep.
I actually start making breakfast.
Interestingly, you step over the maitre d' from the other inn.
Yes. I mean, this was one hell of a party. Eventually, everyone makes it here.
You know what? I'm gonna let that's canon. I like it. Man, all right.
You know what? I drag him out before I start making breakfast.
If I see that, I start laughing.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not caring if people around.
Okay, if your laugh wakes them up, then holy shit. Alistair.
Yeah.
Alistair. So you wake up and your head is killing you. And you try to sit up and you can't, because there's just like a thigh across your neck and then like a torso across your waist.
Yeah.
And
I've been here before.
You have been here before. Unfortunately, last night's 10s are tonight's 6s and 7s.
Again, I've been walking for like days. So I'll take what I can get.
Right. And to be fair, collectively, like 4 6s is still a 24.
Yeah.
Amen to that, because it is a total.
Yeah.
That's how you keep track.
But holy shit, your head hurts. Like, yeah. It's like you either drank more than you realized, or that dwarven ale was stronger than it seemed. But holy fuck, you haven't been drunk like this in a long time.
Yeah, I'll try to cast a little healing word on myself too, if that helps.
Sure, it doesn't, but
no, but I'll do it anyway.
You know what? I would give healing word maybe, and same for Radek. When you wake up, like your head maybe doesn't hurt quite as much.
Takes the edge off.
Yeah,
it's like an aspirin.
You're
right.
Like the way we're gonna call it is like for hungover condition. Basically, is I'm gonna call it disadvantage on everything.
No, that's fair.
So if something were to storm
Yeah.
the bar right now, you would not feel good about defending yourself.
I wouldn't. I
but
would just turn invisible and hide anyway. So
Right.
yeah,
But
so I
it's
just
like-
a little healing word, take the edge off the head. That's enough
That's
for
all
me.
you need.
Yeah.
And it's enough where it gets you to your feet and you're able to stumble downstairs and
Oh wait, I don't know if I'm leaving yet. Where am I? Am I
Oh,
in
sure.
the-
You're
He's
in
still
a
got to
public
dig his way out.
and there's probably 15 people in this room that is really supposed to sleep like 5 or 6.
Is there a bath?
God, no. Not in this room. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like what you
No,
can
I'll just gather up the sheets. But all I do though is I just wrap it around like my neck, so like the rest of it's sort of flowing
You're
behind
once
me.
again wearing a blanket. cape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's
Whoa, what's
and-
happening? This is what they call a tease in the biz.
give me D20 rolls, just a flat D20.
D20.
We didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Oh,
why.
sorry, Alistair and Raddick.
Oh.
Give me just flat D20 rolls.
Okay.
Natural one.
10.
You caught an STD.
I'm gonna need that greater restoration now.
No, what you've got is nothing.
Yeah. Oof. I had a lot of money too.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Oh no.
That like it had to be a nat 1. Like I was like, maybe he lost a few gold. Nat fucking 1.
So
Yeah,
what
you
when
got-
we
you
say
lost the score, right?
nothing, what do we mean by nothing?
Let's see.
You have the like nothing.
Yeah, the opposite of what you had before you fell asleep.
Like literally, you're naked and you have nothing.
I love that we got him out of the fancy schmancy hotel.
I know.
He wakes up
But what you do have
hungover with
is
nothing.
memories.
Hey, on the
That was-
bright side,
Does he?
the tailor didn't come in and give you a bunch of fancy clothes just so you could lose them.
Well, I guess it would be a zero-sum game, really. So yeah, I grab a sheet. You know what? If I notice
And
I
I
don't
want to
have,
thank you guys for rolling the most opportune nat 1s and 20s. I feel like there has been so many extreme your rolls.
yeah,
Mine too, for that matter.
yeah.
We're
So
like,
I got up. I grab. When I look around, I notice I don't have any of my stuff. That's when I grab the sheet, and I'm like, it's kind of like a really bad magician, you know, who tries to pull the tablecloth and all of the silverware comes off.
Comes falling.
I'm pulling
crashing
5
down.
chicks off of this bed by grabbing the sheet,
That's
and then I wrap it around again, just up around my neck.
oh, there's no bet. You're on the floor, by the way.
Oh.
There's like some people you can tell are laying on cots, but it's just like
Too many
a
people.
mass of bodies, and some are slightly higher than the others. So you see people like there's some people on floor, some people on beds, some people half on people on floor, half on people on beds.
All right.
It's just
Well, in that case, then I'm just walking around buck ass naked, and
You are correct, sir.
I look around for my
Raddick, you lost 8 gold.
Okay.
my stuff.
You got pickpocketed by someone merciful, and they didn't want to leave you like completely.
It's like he's the man of the cloth.
It was.
You don't
It
want to
was.
take all of his shit.
It was his first day
Right.
stealing from someone, and he got nervous. Just took a handful and ran.
Well, it was like they took like all 15. They're like, you know what? He said some really interesting shit.
He did magic.
Yeah.
He did, Matt. Yeah.
Let's not let him starve to death. We'll take half.
Meanwhile, I've still got my squirrels.
Yeah. I mean, who's fucking coming near the giant?
Yeah.
Really? Like they gave you a room. Like, we're not going to steal from you. Please sleep in my bed.
I picture it more that no one else bothered, so I just stumbled drunkenly in there. And it's like, this is mine.
Yeah, the people who were already sleeping comfortably got out and ran.
Right.
So true.
So that's Lorik's thing, apparently, is that he was like shit-faced, but spoke like he didn't slur his words or stumble at all. So like people are looking at him like, that's not a mark. He's sober as a judge, and meanwhile he's like, rabbits are fluffy.
It's like, yeah, I'm actually like eating one of the rabbits that I'd also cooked.
That's just what they do. That's normal
Like,
behavior.
they were eyeing me up, and I'm like, want some?
Yeah, so
And then like they have to eat it because they're terrified. Never refuse a rabbit offered to you by a savage who can crush your head with one hand.
Amen to that.
we've all been
Now
there.
those are
Yeah.
words to live by.
That's when you just go, yes.
We've all been faced with that dilemma.
No salt, huh? We're just eating raw rabbit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking around for my shit,
Yep.
and I'm waking people up. Where's my shite?
You're so much less popular this morning than you were last night.
I don't care.
There's just a lot of like, fuck you.
I'm waking up everyone I can see. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, like there is no like you can actually, as you wake people up, many people are discovering the exact same thing you did. Where's all my shit?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
as
like-
by the way, as I'm doing it, I'm just taking like random like clothing. So I've got like, you know, a t-shirt that's too big on me. I'm wearing a skirt. It's like
So you're able to find like a shirt just hanging around, but anything other than that, you're gonna have to take off sleeping people.
yeah, no, I
You're
will.
waiting to do it again.
Yeah.
That like same thing. You end up in the skirt. You just have to, you steal a skirt from a sleeping woman,
Yeah.
and it's and then you got like this shirt on, but it's missing like a bunch of buttons.
So
So
it's
it's
just wide open.
it's like like you can manage like one or two, but it's like the second and like the fifth one. It's just very haphazard, and it's torn and yeah.
Yeah, then I'm
When
gonna
if he makes his way down to the room, like the common hall or whatever.
yeah, I head
Well,
back
that's
down.
So well, let's see. What are you doing, Alistair?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna just go. If I can't, if I don't see anything in this room, I'm gonna go door to door.
Excellent. All right, yeah. So if ever there was a walk of shame, it is Alistair coming down with this misbuttoned, torn, really like flash shirt.
He doesn't even have his sack of blankets.
Yeah, no sack of blankets, a skirt that doesn't go below, like it's like 2 or 3 inches above the knee. Alistair long hair, right? That's how I don't know. That's how I
Wait,
was
what?
always picturing him. I don't really-
What'd you say? I couldn't hear what you said.
How's Alistair's hair? Like, what's it? Is it long? Is it
Yeah,
short? I
he's
picture
got
him
long hair. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just bedhead, and just like there's just like smears of other people's makeup, and he just like is really hungover, so he's really dragging himself down these stairs. Like it is just the most, and
Like
like
still looking for his shit.
yeah, and he's but he's just a disaster. And then he's like thinking he's gonna go find these thieves.
So he walks out downstairs, and I've
I just
already
start
served
laughing.
Bjorn and Radek is Radek downstairs too.
So Radek,
Yeah.
timing wise, this is one of the first things you notice. Like you're surveying where you are, trying to just like put everything together from last night, and you look up, and that is what you see.
So I've already served Bjorn breakfast, and then like and Radek wakes up, and Alistair stumbles downstairs, and I've got like a plate of like ham and eggs in front of Bjorn. I'm like, breakfast?
Well, I say, sir, that's mighty nice. You surprise me all the time, Lord. Did you cook that?
Someone stole all my fucking shite.
You won.
I just start dying laughing when I see Alice.
I go over. I'm pretending like I don't even see Alice right now. I'm going over to look at the breakfast.
When he says that from like the far corner of the room, like from just like what seems like a passed out person on the floor who doesn't move at all, it just goes, "Yeah, you got broomsticked."
Is it the maitre d from the other end?
No, it's just some fucking schlub.
It would be so great if it was the maitre d though.
Yeah, let it be the maitre d. Let's retcon that.
The maitre d is actually laying in the mud still outside the front door.
He took a cut.
I can't wait till you. That's gonna be fun.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, we lost you. We lost the beginning of that.
That's gonna be fun, he said.
Yeah, well, I can't wait till you guys venture out. That's gonna be. We'll get to it.
Yeah,
all good things in time. But yeah, no, it's just some passed out or seemingly passed out guy. Despite all this,
I walk over there. I just kick him in the face.
Oh, he's far away from you.
No, I'll run over
across the bar.
I will run over there.
To run over, you gotta hike up your skirt, okay?
Yeah, no, I'll hike up the skirt with one hand.
No, it's actually the opposite. You gotta kind of like hold it down.
I don't care about that.
You hike it up to run. This isn't about modesty.
Yeah.
This is about freedom of movement.
I just pull this thing up to my hips and run.
All right, your skirt is now a belt.
I'm rolling around.
This is I've apparently found some sort of undergarment here.
For a dick check.
But
6.
He runs over and I just slaps.
All right, yeah. So make your attack roll.
No,
I'm gonna give you disadvantage because you're wearing a skirt.
Come on, I roll a natural 20.
Did you?
Oh no!
He just fucking balls this guy.
All right, roll damage.
I mean, it's like a 1, I think, right? Or 2, because it's a natural 20.
It's 1 plus your strength, unless you.
That's 0 then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it a D4.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, I never liked that unarmed 1 thing.
There you
go.
Now
we'll give another
double
one
the dice? Do I
because
double the
it's a
dice
crit.
because it's a
Yeah, roll another D4.
All right. Another 1, a 2.
Well, that's correct. That's how it should be.
I just should have used the 2 that I offered up earlier. Yeah.
So what happens is you go over and you stomp this guy right in the face. But because you don't really know how to do it or what you're doing, you're barefoot. Instead of getting the heel, you get kind of the arch of your foot. And it's right on his nose. And you feel it crunch. And the feeling of his nose crunching against your bare foot will bother you for at least a year.
That's creepy, yeah.
Like, it was more disturbing to you than it was to him.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And he starts holding his nose, and
That's
there's
not a
some
good
blood.
feeling.
He's screaming, and then there's a second. He's like, "Oh, you know what? It's not that bad."
Guys, I'm fine. It seemed like that was gonna hurt much more than it did. Really, it's not. Yeah.
And he sits up, and he's like, "As a matter of fact, my headache's gone.
Cleared my sinuses."
And he's like, and my sinuses are cleared. Sausage, and just goes right over to the bar.
Well, thanks, man.
Lark just serves him breakfast.
I'm too busy laughing at this whole turn of events.
I'm eating. It's like, well, son, yeah, you're gonna, and I'm pointing with my fork. You'll be able to find your things easier if you got a full belly.
I hike my skirt down and say, "There's got to be authorities here somewhere in this fucking village." And I open the door.
Lark actually just starts laughing too, and then put the plate in front of him.
So the guy at the bar, laughing, just laughing into his breakfast. It's like, "I'm the sheriff."
Say, well, you gotta help me. Somebody stole all my stuff.
Yeah, no shit, buddy. You got broomstick. Why the fuck did you come here?
I'm laughing. Like,
Why did you come
didn't-
here? That's amazing.
I am now.
Like you had 3 choices of establishments.
And you know what? I was actually thinking that when I was getting ready to come in. I was like, well, the other one, this seems a lot, just way too rowdy. Maybe I should go to the other one. I'm like, no, because I want to get to the salt of the earth people.
Yeah.
I'll go in here. They need need the word of Amon more than other people.
I'll just look at him and I point. I say, "This place came recommended," and then I walk out the door.
I just grab a plate and just hurry out with them. It's almost cold.
As you're leaving, he's beginning to tell you a story about a little girl who tried 3 bowls of porridge, but it seemed like one was too hot and one was too cold and one was just right.
Right.
And you found the hot and the cold.
I mean, had orgy, lost all of worldly possessions.
That's too hot. You will take notice when you walk outside that they're propped up against the building just outside the door is the maitre d' just
all right.
covered in
Oh,
No,
God
I
damn it.
I didn't prop him up when I threw him out. I just left him in the mud.
All right, how big is
Propped
he?
up now.
What is his size compared to mine? Because I'm like 5'10", probably. I mean, I don't weigh much, maybe 165. I'm a thin guy.
Yeah, and
Yes,
you're rocking that. What's your strength again that you're rocking there?
8.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. Yeah, you're intimidating.
No, he's unconscious, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's passed out. That's like you're the right build. You're the right build.
Yeah, I prestidigitation the vomit off of him and I take off his clothes and put him on.
Now, do you leave him naked or do you put the skirt on him and the like?
I'm
Do you change
just
clothes
the
to him or
skirt.
just leave him naked?
Just the skirt.
Just the skirt.
Rio wakes up shirtless wearing a skirt.
Excellent.
You've been broomsticked.
You got broomsticked, bitch.
Look for his coin purse on the way out.
Oh yeah, does he have a coin purse on him?
No. You don't bring a coin purse to the broomstick. Are you
Yeah, well, I
crazy?
didn't know that.
He did. Fucking tourist.
and this is our doing. Things got this rowdy because of us.
I know it got
Yeah.
worse because of us. It was bad enough, and we made
Whoa!
it worse.
What's this us stuff? I wasn't standing on tables singing songs.
All right, Bjorn and I made it
You got
worse.
everybody riled up on the sun god.
I
Drinking
know.
got
That's
so
true. Yeah.
worse.
All right, fair enough.
You all played your part. Congratulations.
We essentially robbed half a town
I'm-
without actually anything.
I've got a.
All right, so now we have to find the one rich guy in town.
Alistair and Adam are gonna go around back and go take a piss. We'll be right back.
Excellent. You know what? God's going to do the same thing.
There it is. Okay, it's up to us, guys. So what is this breakfast like that you have prepared?
It was basically like probably like ham and eggs and some kind of hash.
Whatever was in the kitchen.
Now hash would be good. A good greasy hash with some,
Oh yeah. Well,
some
that's
fried
like
potatoes made with oil. Yeah,
oh,
some
that was thinking, like,
eggs.
whatever was in there, and like it's like a greasy spoon diner breakfast. It's like all heated over like a grill that's where like the grease just dripped into the fire and it was all seared up and.
Well, I'm thinking, fellas, that we're going to have to stick around here for a little while longer and make a little bit of coin for traveling. Now, last night, I noticed when I was drinking that there are quite a few people in this here establishment, and I'm assuming this town that needs proper cobbling to the foot attire because there's some atrocious shoes in this here place. I could turn a coin or two, but that's going to take a while. I think we might have to see about something else to gain a little bit quicker coin.
Lurk's in a very good mood, and he actually is just laughing by halfway through that. He's just like,
I'm outside for the record. I followed Alistair.
oh yeah, we all did, I think. Didn't we? Like after.
Oh yeah, well I guess so. Yeah.
I in that case, I get robbed in the forest.
We broke up a little bit, man.
Yeah.
As I say, well, just what for us to get robbed in the forest? We don't need going.
Well, the thing of it is, sir, that it's not a matter of getting robbed by honest folk. It's you need the coin for the honest folk. Bandits, we could free them of their coin themselves.
Well, here's the thing. See, it wasn't just the coin that they stole.
It was
I had a lot of,
wasn't it, son?
Well, yes, of course there was the respect, but at the same time, there was also a healing potion, which I was going to save for one of you if you got hurt in a fight. And then on top of it was, those magical bombs that I used to overthrow the fort.
Yeah.
There was one left, and it was a healing bomb.
A healing bomb, you say. And you seem a little bit light in the implements of sticking people. He
Well,
doesn't.
I like. Oh yeah. Well, they also apparently stole my sword.
Those daggers, that bandolier daggers.
I had a bandolier.
All your venom
poison
daggers.
Yeah, the bandolier daggers, right? The healing, the spelling.
I had a rapier, a dagger, a bandolier of poison daggers, a hand crossbow, a disguise kit, a diplomat's pack, my loot, studded leather armor, which I was not wearing, my fine clothes,
out of everything. That's the
my magic key of unlocking. The map of the fort, a list of contacts, a saw that I had purchased before getting on a ship, a bag full of pillows and blankets, very fine pillows and blankets, the healing potion, a bottle of perfume, a extra pair of pants, rations, the health bomb.
The health bomb, potion.
Oh, and a potion of greater healing too. A potion of armor of Agathis.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we might want to do a little looking around. I mean, that's an awful lot for.
We need to find my shite.
That's what I'm saying, son. We need to find your stuff so that you can have your proper attire again.
It seems to me we have to find the one newly rich person in town.
And now I'm dressed like a maitre d'.
That's true.
But like a good maitre d'.
I'm wearing the bow tie and everything. Like it's.
For the record, I'm still in my wooden crown.
Hell yeah! I'm giving you a +1 to rolls with that crown for the next session. All in next session, you got +1 to rolls.
Jake,
actually, you know what? Well, it's too late now. I said you did it. Oh no, I did. I was like, I should have made you get a con save, see if you finished it. That's what that con save was. Yeah, we did. So you finished it. You did a good job.
Maybe we should talk to the sheriff. I mean, sure, he didn't seem quite helpful at first.
Sitting at the fucking bar.
Yeah,
he's the one who told me I was fucking broomsticked.
Correct, but I mean, if anybody,
someone find me a broomstick, and I'm gonna show him what broomstick really means.
I must say, in that sheriff's defense, at least he is consistent. He was equally as concerned with you getting robbed as you kicking him in the face. Like, he really is just like a easygoing guy. You got robbed, I don't give a shit. You stomped my face, and I also don't give a shit. You got broomstick.
That was the guy who the guy he kicked was the sheriff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Thankfully, he did no damage.
Right? Well, I mean, perhaps we could talk to him, and I mean, he has to know his town and who might be the most likeliest of prospects, and we could even say that we could give him a reward if his information happens to lead to finding your accoutrements.
I won't stick a broomstick up his fucking arse. Is what I.
Well, now you see, son, you can't really talk to folk like that if you want them to help you. You know that. Come on now.
Alistair, your silver wolf is showing.
Everyone's a suspect.
You know, the sheriff most likely did it. It's the perfect crime.
Yeah.
Right?
No wonder he doesn't care. Yeah.
You got broomsticked. That's where the sheriff robs you.
Yeah. By the way, he's also 75% owner of the broomstick.
I was gonna
Just the 75% that was in you.
Yeah. Oh.
but a bump.
Yeah. I still got the brush up there. It feels like
you have an anger boner.
I'm wearing clothes now.
Yeah, he's still the maitre d'.
I'm dressed like a maitre d'.
Well,
I retract my crass statement.
I mean, you can still see the boner, but not. It's just it's in pants now.
It's a classy boner.
I think we're overestimating how observant Leork is.
So I think we should go on in and try and have a civilized conversation with the man. What do y'all think?
I think we need to find my shite.
Again, that's what I'm kind of trying to do here.
Go in there and talk to the fucking sheriff.
Calm down, son. I'll go and I'll do that. So I'll go back in.
I'm still just pissing myself laughing. This whole ordeal has made me nonstop.
So you go in there and the sheriff like lean. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
I'll say Lork's standing outside with Alistair and Bjorn, and he's just kind of got a little smile on his face, and he's humming to himself, "Blister in the sun."
It's a great night. Actually, you know what? Specifically for Leork, that would be like last night to you was kind of picture like a potato farmer in Idaho who grew up in like a town, 100 people, and went off to college. And he's at like UCLA. And for the first like month or so, it just seems like a lot of chaos and trouble. And then you go to your first real college party, and it's just like this completely like you like the idea of people like all rallying around one person drinking or just like singing songs and having a good time. And that like is so foreign to you, but you just had the best time. And it's like, it's a new dawn.
Oh yeah. That's what he made everyone breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
What he didn't notice was the dark side of this type of fun.
Hey, no one robbed him. He handled his booze.
They gave me a room.
Yeah, he slept like a fucking baby. All right, but so Radic, when you go in, you see the sheriff is just like leaned over the bar and like trying to work the tap from the other side, pouring himself a mug of beer.
Well, there's nobody else like in an official capacity here, right?
No, I mean, so now like there's probably 2 or 3 other people kind of stirring from the dozen passed out people on the floor, but yeah, no, there doesn't seem to be anybody manning the
here.
Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll go in and I'll go behind the bar, and I'll help the sheriff by taking his mug and I'll pour it for him and then give him the mug.
Well, thank you. I was starting to get the bent over. It was my head was.
Terrible situation to find oneself in. I completely understand, sir. Completely. Now,
well, that's the price you pay.
Yes, sometimes when you party like that, it just comes back to bite you in the end. I do believe. But seeing as how you're the sheriff, you probably know a little bit more about who might be certain types of individuals who would abscond with someone's accoutrements, and where said people might be able to be found.
So you say that, and he takes a long sip from his mug, and you can see while he's drinking, he's smiling.
Right.
And he puts the mug down, and he goes, "And that, my friend, is the price you pay." He wants a bribe.
Well, this is where I was coming into the next part of my. There's a finder's fee for said accoutrements, and well, let's put it this way, sir. You know how much a healing potion goes for, don't you? How much do they go for?
Sure.
Okay, it's like
I think 50 gold. I think is a healing potion. That's yeah.
Yes, sure. Well,
yeah, sure. Yep.
We've got one of them. One might even say that we could easily provide you with compensation worth of 2 healing potions. If you see what I'm saying.
I couldn't do that to you. You're a man of Aman. You guys took a fort. You're gonna need those healing potions. And besides, Mama always taught me that 10 real gold is better than 100 imaginary gold.
Right. Well,
that's my speaking.
I do.
Sorry, did I pick up your accent? I have a tendency to pick up.
That's quite all right, son. Unfortunately, due to last night's endeavors, all I have is this, and I'll give him my 4 gold. Actually, what I'll do is I'll pull my purse out and I'll shake it out into my hand so that he sees that I'm getting my 4 gold out of it. And I go, well, for the time being, that's all I can give you for the information. But like I said, once we acquire the lost merchandise, there'd be more, of course.
And he looks at it, and he looks at you, and he looks at it, and he's like,
"You know, I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of Amon." What that's worth.
He's like, that just breaks my heart.
Well, it is what it is. Things happen. You know, it is what it is. But those accoutrements, now I'm not supposed to be telling a lot of folk this, but we actually do jobs for important people, aka like the fort thing. You've heard of the guild, right?
Which guild?
The guild.
Oh, the guild.
The guild, yeah. Now, just try to keep that down a little bit. I don't like that to get around. It tends to make people a little bit on edge when you try to talk to them and conduct business. Well, so we do jobs for them, and it would look bad on us having such a situation occur and not be prepared for when the next job comes down from our employer, if you understand what I'm saying. And we would be rightly appreciative of anybody that would help out with that. And like I said, there still would be the finder's fee, of course, involved.
So he looks at your gold and he's like, well, and he like slides one of them over and puts it in his hand. He goes, this town, this village, this is not a village. This is 3 inns and everything else that is. Everything that happens in this town, and he picks up another coin, goes through the inns. No one robs anyone without permission from an inn. Might not have been this inn. Might not have been the other inn. I think I might be a little drunk still, but it was an inn. I don't know which one. I can't help you there. And he takes the last coin, or he takes the 3rd coin, and he's like, but I will tell you one thing. And this is something my mama told me. And he picks up the last coin. He goes, you never leave a man penniless. And he gives you the final coin. And he says, money talks.
Unless you're Alistair.
Yeah.
Say it again?
Doesn't leave you penniless and naked.
Yeah. It doesn't leave you like Alistair. Exactly.
Well, so there you go. It couldn't have been him who robbed you. Alistair would have, if you had woke up with 1 coin in your arm,
right?
He might have been the sheriff. But he says, I will tell you this.
If you had 1 coin in your prison purse.
If you're penniless, I didn't rob you.
Right?
I almost made a spit.
That was close, yeah. That was
You got
close.
time.
Yeah.
And it says, money. Money talks. around here. You spread it around, you might find your answers, but it's whatever it comes back to is going to be one of these 3 fucking inns that seem to run my entire life.
So, if I was to look to spend some of that money to get some information, who would be the most advantageous people for me to talk to? Name.
Yes, this is the part where I want to take your money. You gave me all your money.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did, sir.
You have a gold
All
left.
right, I guess I like you. I like the sun. It's warm.
It is, sir.
Orange
It
is a
is.
pleasant color. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll take an IOU. You're a man of your word.
Of course.
I trust that if things work out for you, you do the right thing. You don't, I'll give you proper burial.
I appreciate that immensely, sir.
All right, so there is Sally. Sally has men's ear, if you know what I mean. I don't know that she'll know, but she might know something. There's Teddy. Teddy's special. Everybody likes Teddy. See, the thing is, these inns, they're awful aggressive, competitive. That's the word. They don't like each other. I don't know what the big problem is, because there's plenty of tourists coming through for everybody. There's 3 inns. There could be 5 inns. There's enough customers to support it, but they just really seem to have each other's goat. Teddy is one of the few locals, really few. It is Teddy and it is myself that are welcome in all 3 establishments. I'm welcome because I don't ask questions, and I am the law. Unfortunately, I don't know much because I don't ask questions. But Teddy, he's an inquisitive sort of folk. He might be worth talking to.
I appreciate that.
Well, of course. You paid me imaginary gold, and that's worth nothing. I mean, something. I don't know.
And so Teddy and Sally, and where's Sally?
It's a small village. I can't do all the work for you.
Fair enough.
Probably sleeping. It's only 9:30 in the morning on a Wednesday.
Well, I appreciate all
So
your
it's a work day.
information. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's hump day.
I really do appreciate your information. You are a fine gentleman, sir, and we'll get back to you, of course. And thank you again for burying me if necessary. I appreciate it. And
now I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but if you could try to hold on to that gold piece, I sure would like it as recompense if I do have to bury you. You understand?
Of course, sir. I completely understand.
And if you want to maybe tuck into your pocket somewhere, I don't know what Amon, what his burial rites are. If you want any words said, if I'm supposed to bury you in the morning.
No. So, you know what? When it comes right down to it, just do whatever you want. Mine will understand.
At least make him jump through some hoops here.
Yeah.
To kill you. I mean,
at that point, he's
do you
like,
honestly think whatever I ask him to do, he's gonna damn do anyway?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you're going to end up in a midden heap somewhere.
Right?
yes, he asked.
He did.
He didn't have to ask what his burial preferences were. It seems like a legitimate, nice, seedy sheriff.
Right?
This whole
Exactly.
place is so fucked.
This whole world is so fucked.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon, and then I'll go out to the fellas.
what'd you find out?
Well, it appears that the inns are all in cahoots. Well, not in cahoots. They're responsible for all the shadiness that goes around and in competition with each other. So no stealing goes on without one or somebody knowing. So That being said, there's a
The orc
strong.
kind of goes, and then
But-
stares down at the maitre d'.
There's a strong possibility then that whoever has your things is associated with the broomstick or with that. But
Either that or the other.
He did say this that there's a fella by the name of Teddy who tends to know an awful lot around town as far as what's going on. The problem with Teddy is that, well, he's going to expect to get paid to give information. So my idea is essentially we go into a different inn causing a fierce ruckus. Wait, hold on now. Saying that another inn fingered them for the robbery. Now, if they're rightly outraged by it, well, good possibility maybe they ain't the ones. But if they say, you better back the hell up before we get our boys on you, well, there's it's a good possibility they are the ones who did it.
Now, here's the thing.
Then we can just apologize if they get righteously outraged.
Honest mistake.
Right?
We've been to 2 inns here. One, we were the belles of the ball for some time. The other, I look at Lorik and Bjorn. We made ourselves unwelcome.
And Lorik looks at you confused and kind of hurt. We did nothing wrong.
I just shake my head and I say, now in that place, there was a maitre d'. And I look down at the guy, naked but for a skirt.
Maybe he's hanging a little brain outside it.
Maybe it's time to take him around back, wake him up, and see what he knows about the situation.
Lorik just kind of reaches down and last time he dragged him out, it was by his clothing. So he reaches down and kind of grab him and realizes
grab him by the waistband of the skirt.
Yeah, he doesn't even bother. No, it's more of this he starts to think about these options and then just grabs him under the arms and drags him.
Sure.
He doesn't want to
Well, I definitely think it's a start.
Which is not good.
Now I'm all for going into other taverns and causing a ruckus, but I figure we start with this bloke and see what he has to say.
I think that
York's already dragging him around back, so
yeah, he's already taken it. Okay. Well, I'll fall quietly and I'll be right back.
I'll, of course, follow.
Excellent.
Still laughing at Alistair the
around
whole
the
way.
corner, York sets him back down and not too gently in a puddle, and shakes him. He's like, "Wake up! Wake up!" I'm laughing, picturing this skinny maitre d' waking up naked in the mud, shouting at him.
And me laughing nearby still.
And me wearing his clothes.
Yeah.
So the D100 roll there was to see if this guy was alive. And
tell me it was 1.
I decided to go with just extremes. 1 or 100, and he would have been dead.
99.
I rolled a 99.
Let me show this to the folks watching here. There
So
we
he
go.
is in a coma. No, he's it takes some stirring, but he eventually wakes up. And when he does, immediately just rolls over and begins vomiting.
I immediately take a step back.
There's so much puke. If there was one thing I didn't see coming, it was all the puke.
Leark just brushes his arm off on the guy's head. Disgusting.
That he through the pukes. He's like, I got broomsticked.
You weren't the only one, you motherfucker.
And yeah, he's just like wrist deep in mud
I
at
said,
this
well,
point.
if you'd
Clutching
like-
the earth and just it's like pops a blood vessel in his eye. He's puking
He
so
pulled a
hard.
me.
If you desire to be proper broomsticked,
Yeah, like you're not sure he's getting any of this. He just
I just put my foot right on his back and push him into it real quick.
and he's like like it had no impact. It's just like you get the feeling he just like punches right now, and it doesn't matter. It's like a pain priority thing.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word on him.
Yeah, he just like he comes up for air and he's like water, because he's just like dry, like retching at this point. He has nothing to puke, but his body's still trying to just like get it all out.
Lorik's information.
He's he just.
We can wait. We got
4
time.
Healing Word.
There you
4
go. All right, so yeah, he takes the healing and he's still like that. He's just
I'll give him a water skin.
all right. There you go.
Just
like,
enough. Just
Ooh,
enough.
Water skin.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I've got nothing.
That's right.
oh, that's right. You don't have the water skin.
I'm content to wait.
Yeah, I've got nothing.
Off my hip and start to hand to him and go, who would take a shit?
Like he is just beyond it. So yeah, if you don't help him out, you guys can just kind of joyfully watch him retch for about a half an hour before it
We
slowly
need to get
starts
some
subside.
information out of this fucker.
Yeah, well, let's wait. We'll let him suffer through this.
We
So
do
he
not
ends
have
up just
time
kinda,
to
like,
wait.
curled up in the fetal position, just shaking, like naked in the mud. And he just looks very cold and pathetic.
He's wearing a tiny skirt,
Yep. And
a
so,
hooker skirt, I imagine. Because
oh yeah, no, it's
It's not cloth, it's leather.
Ooh. Now
so
we're
yeah, so
talking.
about I don't know, 15, 20 minutes pass of that, and then he curls up and he's just kind of shivering in the mud. And you can watch as over the next 10 minutes he slowly starts to come back to. And he like never stirs, he's just kind of staring off into space. And then like very deliberately, it's just over. And he just stands up and like seems to have zero shame about his like
this is his thing. Like this is
his like the
each
most
morning he goes
shameful
through this.
position. He just threw up for a half an hour
Got pushed into it.
in front of like a
Although usually he's not covered in at least a leather skirt.
when he's got the leather skirt on, is completely covered in mud.
Oh, that's actually canon, a leather skirt.
Yes, I mean it was a mini skirt before. Why the of course it's leather. It's
Yeah.
cowhide. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's just like no, like he stands up and mind you, it's like he doesn't like you. He had to kick you out of his place. He was very haughty the last time you spoke to
He
him.
was just partying with us. He might like us a little more. You know,
Right, yeah, maybe.
except for the fact, that he's waking up naked and we're not helping him, and Alistair's wearing his clothes.
Right.
Bow tie and all.
He got broomsticked by Alistair.
Never mind. He doesn't like us more than he did. My bad.
Yeah, it's the best a lateral move. Yeah.
He had like a nut picked out on the kitchen floor. He was away. Like, yeah. It took him like so much effort to crawl out of the general heat hordes into the kitchen.
Then he woke up covered in mud and vomit.
And yeah, so he just stands up and you're all just staring at him, like expecting shame because you should be ashamed.
Oh, no. I'm expecting information.
And he stands up and just looks at you and he's like, what?
What happened to me, shite?
Pay me.
I Eldritch blast him in the nuts.
Oh
For real?
Roll it.
Yeah.
I say for real. He's
Worse
yeah. Uh-oh.
than that. The one
21.
time Alistair gave me credit.
Roll damage.
It's not working.
And
Hold
roll off and-
on, nothing's happening here. What's else? I don't know what.
1d10, I think.
1d10.
Oh shit, that's a lot of damage.
Do you have the invocation where you add anything?
No.
Okay.
6 points of damage to his nuts.
Oh my god.
To his nuts.
Ow.
You just killed
I don't think he's wearing the leather skirt
shooting him in
anymore.
the nuts.
So you hit him in the nuts. He throws it, like somehow finds something else to throw up.
Somehow.
It's just
And then
bile at
passes
this
out in
point.
the mud.
He passed out what?
Passed out in the mud. Like you hit him in the nuts, he doubles over on all fours, pukes, and passes out.
Not surprising.
What's happening right now? What is happening?
I'll go over and I'll check him and make sure that he's not dead.
I'm gonna healing word him. I say, wake the fuck up and cast healing word. Hold on. Let's see.
Bjorn's just over here living his best life.
I didn't got worse for wear at all. Drag it, enjoyed the cake.
yeah, fucking great. You got
That's a
crowned.
7. So I took 6 and I gave him back 7.
And then now he kind of rolls over. He's like, ugh. And he looks up and he realizes, like, now you can recognize, he realizes for the first time that you're wearing his clothes. He's just sitting there, like legs straight out, sitting up. You know, like you picture what I'm talking about?
Like spread eagle, but sitting.
Yeah.
He
like,
can't
not,
actually
like, wide.
completely spread eagle because unless I completely ripped the leather dress.
No, so he's just sitting there with his legs just out in front of him. And he just looks on me. He's like, "You're a fucking asshole."
So let's try this again.
Wait. They were that amazed by a light spell. He's not at all disturbed by this eldritch blast. That just
So from his
testicles.
perspective, what happened was unconscious, pain, reconscious.
Okay.
He not really. He just
Right.
he has a general understanding that something bad happened and it came from Alistair. But yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah. So I just say,
It was a bit drastic.
let's
like,
try it.
honestly, he probably thinks that he like punched him in the nuts. That's like most likely.
He got punched in the nuts hard enough to knock him out.
Yeah. So I'll just say, let's try this again. And this
It's
time.
like he actually his testicles were liquefied.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, you think about it, he's just a peasant. Like that much damage to a peasant's testicles.
Yeah, no, like I'll put it this
give
way:
it back.
rolling a d10, there was a chance you. Well, like, you didn't, but you could have.
Yeah.
But
I
he
was aware.
he was essentially
So weird.
but he basically chemically castrated this guy and then healed him.
Yeah, and I could do
Yeah,
this
then
all
give
fucking
back.
day.
And he has no idea. So Alistair's leaning hard away from neutral right now.
I'm chaotic neutral right now. Already.
Right.
So I'm gonna ask you again. What happened to my shite? And if you ask for coin, there'll be another blast to your nuts.
What was the first half of that?
If you ask again, there's gonna be another blast to your nuts.
All right, give me an intimidation check.
All right.
Does he have advantage for having previously liquefied his testicles?
Yeah, I'll give you advantage.
All right.
I had to ask because I wanted to say
All right,
liquefied
it's 21. It's a 10-point swing. So thanks for the for getting the advantage for
Right.
me there.
And at this, he kind of like scoots just like ever so slightly away from you, and he's like, "You got fucking broomsticks. Take it like a man."
Oh, fucking broomstick, you proper. If you don't tell me what happened to my shite,
I lean down to him and I go, son, I think by broomstick in his vocabulary it means he's going to take a broomstick and, well, you get.
Well, that's exactly right.
Right. Yeah. And like he seems like really annoyed, like afraid and annoyed.
So at this point, Leork actually stoops down in front of him where he's like sitting and like sits down and looks at him earnestly. He's like, "What did I do wrong?"
Oh, that's good. That's good right there.
So he just kind of looks at Leork for a minute. He's like, he was annoyed, and now he's just kind of confused. And he just looks like he can deal with annoyed easier than he can confused right now. And he's like, you went to the broomstick, you drank too much, you passed out, and someone fucking robs you.
And who was it? Do you
Who
know?
would have permission?
Why the fuck would I know? Someone with a bunch of fucking shitty clothes in their pockets.
The sheriff told us that this runs through the inns.
And this, he kind of looks at you and he doesn't even have to say anything. Like, it'd be like if you found out like Mr. Walmart might know something about the downfall, so you go to like the greeter at the door and you're like, "Give me answers, I know you know. It goes right to the top." He's the fucking maitre d'. Like,
I love how he
gives
was
me a sticker for coming in.
Mr. Walmart.
Is it a Mrs. Walmart? I honestly have no idea.
Ms. Actually.
It's a smiley face. It's just the smiley face.
They're gender neutral. They get
It's-
really upset about it.
I didn't get a fucking sticker. This guy's a shitty greeter.
So who owns the tavern you work at?
And he gives you the name that I'll have to come up with.
Who were the
That's
two
actually-
people that
this
we were
is a good
supposed to
point.
look
This
for?
is, I think where we're going to stop it for tonight, and you guys can get to the bottom of the mystery of who stole all your shit.
Hell,
And
right?
just a quick, little bit on economy, so you can understand how much was stolen from
A
you.
lot.
A shitload.
Yeah. So Alistair actually would be the only one who would understand how much that stuff is worth, because he's the only one who comes from what I'm going to call the normal world.
Yeah.
Where
Not
you
to mention he had 200 and something gold on him anyway.
204.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the 200 and something gold. But that potion that you had, you would figure probably ran anywhere in the neighborhood of like 400 to 800 gold.
Yeah.
For the armor of Agathis.
Yep.
The healing potions were 50 and
Well, the greater
100.
healing also, yeah. So,
Yeah, so that's a couple, like a few hundred gold in the healing potions. That the daggers were another like hundreds of gold, probably say 500 gold to 1,000, give or take. You didn't really look into the quality of the poison, but that's
the healing bomb.
and the healing bomb, same thing. So you lost like several thousand gold.
We lost a fort's worth of gold. Is that what you're telling me?
No, God, a fort would be. So Alistair can gather that just in that treasure chest that he had, that he grabbed a few handfuls out of, was probably 20 to 30,000 gold. So yeah, it's like.
So we lost a manor's worth of gold.
I mean, you lost like thousands of it's.
We could have bought a boat.
Easily
Like-
$5,000.
Yeah. Oh well, it's 3 to 5. Say somewhere in that general vicinity, which is like a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like if you got back to the guild and they gave you nothing else and they were just like, great job, kudos. The 3 things you managed to walk away from, you couldn't have been too upset about it. It's like those were,
I don't know what you said the whole thing. Like you said if you walk with Hill, the only thing they gave you, and then it broke up, and then he said the 3 things you walked away from, and
So if you went back to the guild and told them we helped this guy retake his fort, and they were like, "That's great, you can have."
Oh
what he
shit!
gave
I
you."
also lost a puzzle box.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost the puzzle box.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah, we're getting this shit back. I don't care about to burn everything down.
Yeah, everyone must die.
forgot about the
Everyone must die.
We might just have to. I mean,
Right.
we took on a whole fort, and those were actually fighters. We could burn this shit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's that's what I was saying about the old. You put all three of them are in competition with each other. You go into one,
Yeah.
accusing that the other one sent you in there to do it. They're going to be like, if they did it, they'll be like, "Fuck, get them." You know, if they're not, they're like, "Fuck those assholes. We didn't take
Pulling
your."
some Zaitachi shit, like Blind Samurai, play them all against each other.
Yeah. I was
You
thinking
guys
for a
got
few dollars more,
got a
but
whole week
same diff.
That's
That works
tactics.
too. Smart.
Not that you will.
What did you say?
What was that, Jared?
Saying, well, you've got a whole week to plan and discuss tactics. You know, not that you will.
No.
But,
We'll wing it.
as impressive as it sounds, we'll do the same thing. Be like, all right, you know, you guys have until next Tuesday to come up with a plan. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna plan so hard. And then it's like 6 weeks and 23 hours later, or 6 days and 23 hours later. I'm like, oh fuck, I totally forgot.
Wing it.
At some point today, while I was cleaning, I was like, "Oh shit, it's Friday."
So on a side note, I'm very relieved that this went as well. What am I do? I have no idea. I'll come up with something. A day go by, I think about it, like, I have a really blank. I have a complete blank about what to do. It's like, well, we'll figure out something. And then it's like a half an hour before we begin, and I'm like, what are we gonna do? And I was like, well, we're gonna
Get broomsticks.
yeah. Get broomstick.
We got a crown. We got a catchphrase. Get.
I was just gonna say we've got a catchphrase that will live on.
That's a t-shirt. That's actually
That
that's if
is.
I
You've
cared at
been
all, I would
broomsticked.
spend the time to make the half the sign with the screaming and the flaming thing, and then just on the bottom, get broomsticked.
There we go. If we take off, there's our T-shirt.
There you
Yeah.
go. Or what? Just get broomstick. That feels like it should be on the back, right? You get
Oh, yeah.
half
Oh,
the
yeah.
sign up front, get broomsticked on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree.
I'll have my wife draw something up tomorrow.
There you go. Well, all right.
So can
Alright.
you draw up a broomstick and then put fancy lettering that says "Get broomsticked"? I don't see that going well.
Yeah, I'll have her make it into a cake.
There you go.
That'll work.
That'll work. Yeah.
And then we'll take a picture and send
Yeah,
it
I
to
was-
Steve.
Right.
Home
Hey,
bakers for the win.
What can you do with this, Steve?
Right? No,
Bake
it'd just be
like
like
you've
some
never
passive
baked
aggressive, like
before.
no formal training, bitch.
See?
Sorry. For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
Steve is a very nice gentleman who plays with us on Tuesdays and went to
That's
pastry.
true. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a pastry chef.
Yeah.
Good times, man.
And
Good
yeah.
times.
So I don't know. Anybody want to plug anything? R2BK Tuesday nights,
Yeah,
9
check
p.m.
us out.
9 p.m.
Standard Time.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah.
Be there.
Got the charity thing coming up on the 23rd, right?
Yeah, there's a charity
23rd.
stream on the 23rd, 8 a.m. Eastern time. So get up early, motherfuckers.
That's right.
And it's for charity, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Easy for me to say.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was just like some, like, I don't know, help little kids play D&D or something.
No,
It's like,
yes.
it's a serious charity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So there'll be a donate button on there, so people can donate during the stream. All proceeds go to the charity. So yeah, it's legit.
And it's like a decent charity too, where they're not going to spend like 60% of what you donate paying Sally Fields for
Right.
commercials.
You know what? Sally Fields needs to make a living too. All right.
Exactly.
Who is, I think, Sal? No, who's the?
Sarah McLaughlin.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, big
That's what I'm
lady.
thinking of.
Sarah
She from
McLachlan.
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you lost.
There's no other Gilmore guys here. Am I the only one?
You're the only
You're
one.
the only one.
Yeah, that's it. Like literally
It's a good
the
show,
only
guys. I
one.
recommend it.
Yeah.
And if you're checking out Amy
I'll-
Sherman Palladino, watch
I'll tell you what.
the, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, one of the best shows I've seen in a
That-
while.
that-
Really.
I heard that was good. I tried to watch. I tried to watch Gilmore Girls once. They spoke so fast, I had no idea. And I'm from New York. I could not understand a thing that they said.
I've averaged 3 times more words per episode than any other show. And I never noticed. Gilmore Girls is one of those shows I will grade on a curve. And if my wife hadn't watched it, like, if I wasn't watching it with my wife for the sake of like, sure, you watch it, I'll watch it, I never would have watched it. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, on the other hand, is just fucking fantastic.
Funny as hell.
Everybody out there,
Marvelous.
Watch
I'm
Maisel,
putting
if
it
you-
in my queue as we
If
speak.
you'd like to be a sponsor,
Yeah,
because that would make perfect sense.
Right?
Daniel
love to
Palladino,
have
if
you.
you're watching this, stay out of your wife's business. She has the talent. Go be a fucking waiter or something.
Or a maitre d
Daniel
who gets
Palladino is
broomsticked.
Amy Sherman Palladino's husband.
I don't really know who that is.
Yeah, you're
And
getting
Amy
too
Sherman
deep into this
Palladino
right
is the
now.
creator of both
He's
Gilmore
a Gilmore
Girls
guy. Let it happen.
Yeah. It's sort of like you don't wake up a drunk or something, whatever. It's same thing with the Gilmore Girls stuff. You just let them go, let them get it out.
Can we
Well,
just put a
it's
bullet
very
in the head of this
frustrating
thing
because
so I can
Daniel
take a pee
Palladino-
again? Because
was
And-
a talentless hack who I have to endure.
Yep.
His wife made a very successful television show,
No,
and
we're
then
gonna
she
keep going.
lets him write episodes, and they're just really bad. Like you can watch an episode and be like, I bet you Daniel did this one, and it comes up at the end and be like, yep, that fucking sucked, Daniel.
yeah, Daniel. On that note, everybody, check out Return to the Band of Kingdoms Tuesday 9 p.m. Go to YouTube/Mr. for past episodes of Ravanna, except for the new ones because I'm like 3 behind now that we made this one. And Return to the Banded Kingdoms, as well as my old web series, The Reset Switch, and the new web series, Super. We're going to do some filming. No, not tonight. Well, today. 5 minutes. It'll be today. Today, and as well as next week. So we're getting closer to providing you more, something entertaining.
For a
possibly.
guy who's got to go pee, he sure does talk a lot.
I know I'm doing that to it's to ignore like what they were saying before, like you hurt your knee. And it feels your back feels better. I'm gonna talk so much to ignore the fact that my bladder's gonna burst.
Yeah.
What he doesn't want us to know, he's trying to get us all to just slowly drift away so none of us see that he's pissed himself.
There it is.
It's true.
All right. I think with that all being said, I think it is time to sign off. So
Good night.
Get broomsticked.
Get
Peace out. Get
broomsticked,
broomsticked.
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, that sounds good.
And we'll check you guys next time.